listening. Oh, okay, that's me. Share. Let's see. I'm already listening. All right. Hi everybody on YouTube. Let me know if you guys could hear me on YouTube. Um, put this here. Skip. Happy Veterans Day. All right. I think it's good on his categories. Let's see. Did he even share this shit? Oh, he did. Blah, blah, blah. Hi, Empress. Hi, Marquise. Average. The ancestors. There you go. Hi, Loki. And hi, everybody on YouTube. Hi, guys. Okay, good. Happy Veterans Day. And what is this, Tuesday? Happy Tuesday. Yeah. Sorry. I thought what is this? All right. Invite to co-host. I don't know what's going on. I sent you an invite to co-host. Hi, Nancy. You got it? Can you hear me? Loki, aka Peter.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Hello.
Can you hear me?
Okay, why you sound like that? Number one.
Like like what?
Like you laying on your stomach.
I'm actually on my back.
God. With your legs up in the air.
Oh.
You're very late. It's 9:00. Okay, are you in New Jersey?
I'm back. Yeah, I'm back in Jersey.
So you in bed already at 9 p.m.? Honey, I was tired too. I was like, do I feel like doing a space?
It's cold. It's cold out. It's like 40, it's like 30, 38 degrees.
I know it snowed already out here in Ohio. We didn't get upstate New York snow. We just got 1 or 2 inches, and now it already melted. But yeah, and cause you know what, I'm tired of trying to figure out these stupid titles. I think I just need we need a generic title for Tuesday nights. Cause I'm tired of thinking about, okay, what we gonna talk about? Cause technically it could be a lot of things we could talk about. It's open mic, but we need a generic title, and you need to get up off your ass and help with that. Cause what is the point of doing spaces if you're not gonna participate, honey?
I mean, I do participate. I'm here every Tuesday.
You laying on your back right about now, and you sound like you done took some magnesiums and you about to snooze. If that's the case, honey, we can call it an early night. Cause
I had a leg of lamb and I had some wine, so I'm just letting
I think you are alky because you always say, "Oh, you have a glass of wine just about every damn night."
No, I'm good. What's going on with the judge? Is he coming back on, or what's happening?
I don't know. So, where's Exodus? I gotta send him an invite because Exodus asks Grump like, "Oh, what is going on with the judge account and blah blah blah." It was like a whole thing I talked about on our show last night. I got to shout out to Exorcist cuz for him doing that. And I forwarded, I don't know. He said he sent in the appeals, and I said, Judge, just get another account, because Grunk said he could create another account while his page is in appeals, and then what people could do is post clips. I guess I got to start posting video clips with him and tagging his account. All this shit, it's too much. But I'm just like, the easiest thing for him to do is just get another damn account.
I made him one too.
Right, you made him one, and I don't understand. Like, let me call him, but like, listen, just log into the one that Peter made, because the only thing he would just have to log out of his X account and then just log in with the login information you created. I'm about to call him.
Easy.
Yeah, and when he
No.
gets the other one back, he can switch over to that one, whatever day that happens.
Right, because Tuesdays is his X space. Shit. I think.
Nancy, what's going on?
Hi, Nancy.
Gibson,
Hi,
what's up?
Derek Gibson. Hi, how you doing?
Hey, I'm well. Good to see you, Dana, and everybody else in the space. I've
And then
been
now I'm
doing.
thinking maybe we need to do spaces like in the afternoon.
I've been
I'm
doing
down for
very
that.
busy.
He ain't pick up. He probably went out. Ain't no telling. Let me call
So,
him.
do you think the government's going to reopen tomorrow, or they're going to, they're going to pass the vote in the House?
Who, me?
Yeah, anybody on stage.
Oh, yeah. So I think by the end of the week, because listen, now it's really in the Democrats. No, he ain't picking up. This is really in the Democrats' ballpark because the Senate already passed. You had, what was it, 8 or 7 Democrats, signed off on it, and so if it doesn't pass the House, well, the Republicans are the majority, but I know in the Senate you need 60. Is that the same for the House, or can all Republicans just vote yes and it'll pass? Or do they need some Democrats to vote yes as well?
Yeah, I think it's is it 251 in the Senate? I'm not sure what it is in the Senate. I'm sorry, in the House.
Right. So, because it has to be a majority, and I know the Senate, it has to be 60 votes, period.
Is it 218?
They'll pass it.
218 in the House, maybe?
Because the Democrats, not the Republicans are the majority. They have 217. They're only a majority by what, an extra 5 seats or something?
Matthew will vote against it, my man. Matthew, he'll vote against it because it's so $2 trillion in debt. That's what it's $2 trillion more in debt.
Right. So, oh my God.
Yeah, it's 218, so it's not that many. And,
Right.
the Republicans have, I think, how many do they have already in the House?
Do they
will pass. It'll pass. I promise it'll pass.
Let's see.
I know AOC is pissed off about it. They didn't want the Senate to cave.
Okay, so it's 219 Republicans in the House. So if all the Republicans, if all the Republicans vote yes, then it'll pass. Now all the Democrats, they're gonna vote no, so they could be like, "Oh, we told the line." Bullshit. That's not towing the line. Towing the line is what Marjorie and the 4 other people did before. Who was it? House Speaker McCarthy or someone, was voted in or some mess like that. That's that's holding out. But all right. So look, I put our Trump's tariff stimulus checks reparations with a laughing emoji, right? YouTube, it says the shocking connection between Trump tariffs and reparation nobody's talking about. There is no connection. That's what nobody's not talking about it. But I look at it like this: if you could find $2,000 for all of middle class, and middle class meaning 150 and down, so basically majority 80% of Americans, that's reparations for Black Americans. Like, Black Americans could get a portion of something out of that. But of course, Democrats are mad because of that, saying that, oh, he can't do it. Some mess. But that's the question. But it's open mic. Open mic meaning you guys could come up and still talk about anything else that's going on, because it was a toss up, Peter. I kind of wanted to talk about socialist agenda in New York City, Mandandi, because he already got pushback from the governor. She said, "No, baby, you will not be having no free buses. That's not going to happen." um, and a lot of that stuff that he wants, the state legislator has to pass it, not him or the city council. So yeah, I know that's people still talking about Mandandi and his socialist agenda. We got Trump tariffs, stimulus checks. Democrats are saying, well, what happened to the Doge? They never said they was giving out Doge. They just said if it was so much money being saved that they could. But I don't know. How do you feel about the tariff stimulus checks?
I think it'd be a good thing, and I think people could use it, and it would throw them a bone. I think I think the bigger thing is like what they're doing with this ACA thing, right? The Affordable Care Act, and if they're going to be able to not extend the tax credit, I mean, you're talking about a massive increase in premiums that people are going to have to pay. So, he was also talking about instead of giving the money to the insurance companies, writing checks to the American people
Right.
and just giving the money back to them, which would be in addition, I would think, to these tariff stimulus checks. But regardless, it has to go away. It's only going to continue to go up. And I was reading an article earlier about these insurance companies have a vertical integration. So what they do is they create other companies that then justify the expenses from whatever the treatment is going to be, and then they're able to jack up their own prices. And if they don't spend the money, they lose it every single year. So they justify the expenditure so that they can then pay themselves the administrative fees that go along with all the money that's being spent for the insurance for every individual. So something has to give, and that's going to be the real issue, I think, for 2026. That coupled with what I've been talking about the last week, which is not only deportation, we need to denaturalize individuals that are here that have done nothing to contribute to the system. So if you've been here for a matter of years and you're literally here from a third world country and not doing anything, you haven't paid really any taxes, you're not a net positive or benefit to the country, why do we want you here? And why should you be able to stay here to continue to live off the public dole? So if we could get that to be popularized and figure out a legal way to denaturalize these individuals, I think we can get a lot of people out of the country that don't belong here and save a lot of the American people a lot of money.
Well, the Trump administration already deported 500,000. I don't think they're going to deport a
I thought it was
fraction of
I
what
thought it was 2 million. I thought 2 million have actually gone now.
already. I heard it was 500,000 so far. I thought 2 million was their goal.
No, I think the numbers that I saw were 2 million have actually gone, not only from deportation, but from self-deportation. So people are
Okay,
just,
yeah, I wasn't including them. So if we include the self deportation, that would be 2 million. Yeah, and then they gave him what, $1,000 or something to self deport and a plane ticket, right?
yep.
And
So,
allowing them, if they want to apply to come back, they can.
yeah, they'll be expedited, I guess, or they'll be put on like a good, not a naughty list, right? Where like almost like Santa Claus, where you're not allowed to come back in at all if they have to go and grab you. I think if we ramp that up in conjunction with what a lot of people are talking about, which are federally deputizing bounty hunters, so that bounty hunters can assist ICE to get even more people out. Um, we need about 20 to 25 million to be out of the country, and I would say there potentially are even more than that, but I think that's a good baseline number in the next 4 years. And if we could hit that, I think that we could really begin to right the ship and reverse what we saw in the last 4 years under Biden, and even before that, going back to Obama.
So, but what about all of the violence that is happening with, wasn't the ICE agents being shot at in Chicago? It's a lot of mayhem.
Yeah, and the Latin Kings allegedly put shoot on sight orders for any ICE agents, which I don't understand how they're doing that. Like, if you're part of a criminal organization, like you don't go with the police. Like you operate like, from the police. I don't know. This is like crazy that they're even doing that, if that is real. That they're saying, shoot at federal agents when they're coming to just, deport people and do their job. I don't understand that at all. But if they are doing that, drop the hammer on them. To look at them like we looked at Al Qaeda. That was how we destroyed them. If we turn that onto gangs and individuals that are not supposed to be here, I think you'd see a lot more people self-deport as well.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I what do you do during the day? Because I think I would rather do a space during the afternoon.
Yeah, we could do a day space.
Because at nighttime, I feel myself winding down at night. Like,
I'm with you.
huh?
I'm with you. I don't know, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock.
Yeah, something, because I don't want to do it at night. And then, you know what? Because the Tuesday nights was reserved for the judge space. I don't want to do it because then it felt like, I don't know. It just feels different. I rather just, if I'm gonna do my own thing, if we're gonna do our own thing, it needs to be a different time, like just different. It just has to be different. I'm not trying to replicate or keep something going, especially, that person can't even be here or not even trying to be here.
We need
He's
to get
like,
him to get on the account that Loki created, though. You know,
the what?
we need to get him to start coming
I
back.
don't know. Right. And that's why I'm like, I just stopped. I stopped really having that conversation with him because it was getting on my nerves because he just kept giving me a whole bunch of excuses. And the bottom line is just like he don't care, he could do something else. Like I just called him, he didn't even pick up. So it's, he could he be watching one of his military shows, or he's probably out, you know what I'm saying? So he's feeling a Tuesday night. So I don't want to come on a Tuesday night at the same time he was doing it and he's not here to do it, and he can't. So I don't know.
I
And
mean,
then Peter, you were just so up in the air.
so what? See, he just does YouTube with you. He's not doing any other platforms right now.
No.
Right. So, I mean, this is the only platform where he actually engages directly with the
Right. And
general
then I
public.
suggested TikTok. I want to start doing TikTok spaces because, different people come up and be on camera, but um,
I saw Tariq.
he's not
I
going to
saw.
sign up. You know what he said? He said, I don't want the Chinese people to get my information.
I saw Tariq Nasheed doing a couple of them, and he had people from Syria on.
I
That
know. What
shit
the
was
hell is
crazy.
that? They were asking for money. That's I'm like, listen, X Space is starting to get like Clubhouse, like a ghost town now, because it's like people from all over the world. I mean, it's the same with X Space, but you can actually show your face. And I don't know what is going on. Whoever's in charge of X, because it ain't Elon, he doing other shit. They need to upgrade X Spaces. Like only the host can be on camera. Well, why don't you have it to where speakers could be on camera like TikTok? Everybody's on TikTok.
Yeah, but what I don't like about TikTok is there's more censorship of speech, right? Like if you say certain things, they can knock you off easier. You can get strikes and you
Yeah.
lose your
When
account.
Ellison takes that over, if he hadn't already, he's going to crank down on it. You won't be able to mention Israel at all. Not at all.
Because we talk about controversial shit on here, like, and we don't have really any issues. I can't even imagine if like we build up accounts over there and start having shows, and then they kill the show because the things we talk about.
Yeah, but
I mean, at
they
the
talk
end,
about controversial stuff on TikTok as well. Like they're more, they be cursing like
Yeah,
it's
but I'm telling you, when Ellison takes it over, it's going to change.
when who?
Keith Ellison. That's who Trump is.
Oh, he the one who bought it.
Yeah,
he uh,
yeah, that's who Trump is handing it to. I mean, it's like on a silver platter.
so he's what is he's Jewish?
Yes,
What, he's a Zionist?
yes.
Oh, oh.
Keith Ellison.
Mm.
Why does that? Who's the who's the AG of
He's,
Minnesota? Who was that? That's an Ellison too, right?
I don't know. Keith Ellison's the Oracle guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He
So,
aged too.
and basically, he's a government insider guy. So Trump, explicitly handed it to him, and his son is looking to buy CBS.
Wow.
So, I no.
Well,
So these are the biggest platforms. Then it's this and TikTok are the biggest like platforms where you can have spaces and engage and anybody can come up and talk. Then right. And Rumble's another one.
can you hold spaces on Rumble?
I don't know. I know Tommy Sotomayor went over there because they kicked him off of YouTube.
Yeah, but Rumble is like YouTube. That's how that's set up to where you stream.
Okay.
I'm assuming.
What about Twitch?
But Twitch is I don't know. I'm thinking Twitch is similar to YouTube, but for some reason you could connect with other people throughout the world as well. So I don't know. I never been on Twitch, but I heard it's cool. And the judge was like, "Oh, what if we could do True Social?" I'm like, "True Social don't have spaces."
Right. That's what I'm asking. Like,
That's
what
what I was
allows
going
for
to ask you. That's what I was going to ask you. What happened to Judge?
His account got suspended.
How on earth could they suspend him?
I don't know. They were saying inauthentic, or I
Oh
guess
my God.
impersonating, and that was really him. But if you do at Judge Joe Brown or type of Judge Joe Brown, it'll be like 3 other X pages coming up.
I saw that. Did he appeal it?
He did, and he appealed it. He said he didn't hear anything, or if he did, then he start the process. So he says it's like a merry-go-round. I don't know.
Well, he needs to reach out to Elon Musk. He's known enough that Elon will know who he is. I'm gonna tweet him. Give that man his. We need Judge Joe. Memphis has got the people in there cleaning. I'm from Memphis, by the way. Well, Tupelo. My husband was a Shelby County deputy for
Oh,
35 years and actually served in judge's courtroom in Memphis. So we need to get him back here. He needs to help save the country, and everybody needs to listen to Judge. Damn.
he probably did. He know your husband? He probably knew your husband.
I never got a chance to come up and tell him. Yeah, I'm sure he
Um,
knew Bobby Wayne, but I just never got a chance. I mean, his knowledge is so valuable, and I never wanted to interrupt him. If I'd had a little room like this and caught him, I would have, but dang. Okay, well, we need to work on getting him back.
yeah, I see. I don't know how that appeal thing works, because it's like, okay, once you submit it, I guess you can't do nothing, or unless you start another account. Some people's, like I was telling him, they start other accounts until that one comes up.
That's what I did. I started an alternate. I've been through that before, but of course, I'm just little piddly me.
But so his concern was, well, then I'm gonna have to start from the beginning. He was like, it took me a long time to get the 100K subscribers. I said, well, it's different now. People subscribe quicker to you than how it was before. Um,
Absolutely.
so I
Plus,
And
don't
he
he
know.
could
can do he
accept
can
that.
do like he doesn't necessarily have to make it an official account. He can just do alt
Right,
or whatever, just so he can talk with you in spaces until he gets it back.
right. I told him, and I don't. He's stubborn.
It's frustrating too. I'm sure he's frustrated as hell. Anyway,
But like if he gets frustrated, he's just going to be like, forget about it.
yeah.
Do something else. But I don't know. But it's at a point
Hopefully he
now.
won't give up too easy.
Tell him that everybody's wanting him back.
Tell
I
him we
told
need
them.
him desperately,
I
especially with
told
what's
them.
happening in Texas.
What happened in Texas?
Yeah.
So,
Please,
just our liberties. That's all.
Oh,
But anyway,
what the digital ID you're talking about?
yeah.
Oh, that's right. Somebody did mention that before. Yeah. Hi, Rusty. Rusty, you have your hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah. What was Judge's actual handle?
At Judge Joe Brown TV.
No
So
underlines
yeah.
in
So
there.
I'm gonna tag X at XENG. It's helped a lot of my friends get their accounts back. That was the one that Elon had mentioned one time. I don't know, maybe 6 months or a year ago, when they were cleaning out bots and a lot of real people got canceled or deleted. And
yeah.
it still works. It really does. So I'm gonna, in the comment section, I'm gonna tag them and tell them it's at Judge Joe Brown TV.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
What you saying on YouTube says, why doesn't Dana just at Elon with Judge's issue? I can, so I guess I am gonna have to do some legwork, but you want me to at Elon and say, hey, can you please hurry up and reinstate Judge Joe Brown account? This is the real him. I could do that. Like, we all could do it.
Yeah, let's do that, and we can circulate it, and then just have everybody retweet it.
Yeah, because like I said, Exorcist, he was going back and forth with Grunk, honey, and Grunk was like, and Grunk even said it, yeah, we need to hear Judge Joe Brown's voice. I'm just like, oh, wait, let me actually tag him.
Did you see the new rocket center they're building? And they were saying they're going to be able to put out 1,000 rockets like a year out of that facility or something like that.
No.
Yeah, Elon is like ramping up with I guess SpaceX to launch more rockets, into space, and then I guess I don't know what's going on with the Mars plan, but like Judge was alluding to before he got suspended, that'd be pretty cool to go to Mars.
Did you
I'm
say
not
it
going to
was?
no goddamn Mars.
Did you say it was at XENG, like for X engineer? Was that the site? Dana, was it at XENG?
What are you talking about?
I thought you said that there was a one account that would help you. And
Oh, that was somebody else said that. That wasn't me.
okay, but I'm asking you what it was at XENG.
I don't know.
Okay,
Who was it? It was. Oh, did she leave out the room? It was somebody else that said if you add
Lady
something.
said it. Yeah.
She said she was going to put it in
Put
the thing
support,
below.
right? If you
I
put
just put it. I just put it down there. Sorry, I
Oh,
was trying to.
okay, that was Rusty. Yeah, at
Yeah,
XENG. Yeah.
yeah, at XENG. So I just posted it down there, tagging them and tagging, and it's at. Just make sure I got it right. At Judge Joe Brown TV.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
because when you tap
engineer.
on it, it does say it's suspended. I was trying to find. Oh, there you go. Hey, Exorcist, you know what? I wanted to say thank you so much for adding Gronk, because I actually read the message trail between you and Gronk on the show last night, and I forwarded. The judge was like, "Can you forward that to me?" And I did forward it to him. So I
Are you talking about me?
yes,
Hey, yep, yeah, yeah. So like, even Grok's like he needs to start like a temporary account until it gets through, because it's like a backlog of people appealing, and like I've been going off. Like I've been like every time I get a chance, anytime a post of mine goes big, I'm putting free Judge Joe Brown. Anytime I see Elon posting something, I'm putting free Judge Joe Brown, and then like I'm torturing Grok about it.
they put knowing it's just Joe Brown TV because I didn't remember the account either.
Oh yeah, well I make sure I post the link of actually Judge Joe Brown talking about his account being suspended, and
Oh,
then I put Judge Joe Brown TV and all that.
did he talk about it?
is this is Elon's X account at Elon?
Yeah, Elon Musk. It's Elon Musk.
Wait a minute. Uh, Elon Musk. I just changed the title at
Oh
Elon
yeah,
Musk.
okay, that's what's up. You doing it? Yeah, you got to at Elon Musk, free Judge Joe Brown. Like let me share this out like crazy then.
Everybody
because
wants to be in space.
because I know like the same thing happened to me. And if you look through the thread, I was even talking about me, third person on a couple of those chats. I was like, man, I know like it's real easy to get suspended for no reason. And yeah, I was hard headed because I was like, no, I'm not going back on there. I'm not going back until they got to reinstate. But I was like, you know what? It took me like 5 months before I was like, fuck this. I'm just gonna. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know if this is
Dana,
you.
That's okay.
Dana, did he have his blue check by chance?
Yeah, he did.
That's crazy because he has to give, you got to prove who you are to begin with. I mean, but maybe they thought he was lying and he wasn't really the TV Joe Brown. I don't know. That's
What
crazy.
even Grok is saying that the reason he got suspended is from policies post X, from Twitter policies. He's being suspended for policies of Twitter, not for of X, and
No,
it doesn't make sense to me.
you don't have to prove who you are to get a blue check.
I did. Well, I
Yeah, I
mean, I
had to
didn't.
give
I
her
don't think I
ID
did a.
originally. The first
Really?
time. Yeah, you don't have to do it now, but you did have to do it before.
It's like, I
Like,
don't
when
have
Yeah.
to.
Judge Joe Brown got his check mark, he had to have submitted his ID at the time.
And you know what's funny? When his account got suspended, that was around the time that Judge Mathis went on Art of Dialogue, called himself clapping back at the judge, saying the judge talked about my wife and my gay son, which he did not. So it was around that time with that Judge Mathis situation too. I
Well,
think that I
it
think
was
because
definitely around.
Mathis is hooked
Oh,
up with that left liberal woke media, I think that they went and did something to have his account suspended.
well, the only thing I noticed for sure is he put out a long string of like at that time he had a lot of posts about Kamala out. Um, uh, during that time when when he first got suspended. But like the oddest thing to me though is, and how you know it's coming straight from the left, whatever's happening, it has to be someone's doing from inside the company on the left, is the fact that, even though I have a more of an anti-Zionist platform, like Judge is more pro-Zionist, and like not necessarily pro, but like he doesn't even talk and sometimes he'll even argue against me about, trying to blame things on those type of people.
Mhm.
And like, even though he has an opposite point of view from me, I miss him being on here. Like I miss it.
Yeah. Hey Joe, how you doing?
What's going on, Dana? I hadn't been able to catch one of your spaces for a while. I was excited to grab this one.
Yeah, glad
Uh,
you came
did
through.
did the judge get suspended for inauthentic behavior?
That was one of the reasons. I don't know what that mean though.
Well, I got suspended for inauthentic behavior, and it lasted for just about a month. I did the appeal, got nothing back, just no word on it whatsoever. I go and look up in the terms of service what inauthentic behavior is, and it's quite a bit. I mean, it goes everything that you're impersonating someone. But for me, they got me because I only do the grand jury. So pretty much the only thing I post is like, the next show for the grand jury or something about the grand jury.
Hmm.
And that's what they suspended me for. So now I have to either not post about the grand jury, make sure I put something else in there that's not
Oh,
necessarily
because
grand
they're
jury
thinking
related.
that you're trying. They're thinking,
Self
are you
promotion.
right? Or maybe a real grand jury or something. I don't.
No, it's self promotion. There's a whole paragraph in there about self promotion. What they want you to do is, like, if you want to promote yourself, cool, no problem. Hit the boost and pay the ads. They have a mechanism if you want to self promote. So you got to be careful on how you do that. He'll get his back, and they won't send in anything. It'll just come back like mine did. It was like about a month, maybe 5 weeks, and it just came back on its own.
But I'm trying to figure out. So which one would he fall under? Because he never promoted anything. He just he.
They're thinking he's not the real Judge
I
Joe
think
Brown.
that's what it is. And
And if we can get enough people to notify that XENG, he'll come back online in about 2 or 3 days.
But what he was doing, and I used to tell him this all the time, is like he'd put out those posts and he'd have all of those ats, like at
oh,
at
and that have a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, see, you can't do that. Like that could be possibly what happened is. And I told him like, bro, the most you can have is like four, I think, 4 or 5 ats on a
Oh,
post.
really?
Yeah, anything
There ain't
over
no
that.
way that can be true. I get tagged in those by the same people every day, all day long.
Well,
Hundreds.
you might want to block them because I've had it happen where it's like they'll flag me for what is it what is it not spam, but they'll flag me for something. I think maybe it's spam, and then I'll have to appeal it. And like I got to the fact where I just tell people, hey, don't at me in nothing. If somebody ats me in something and it has like more than 5 people, I block them because some people ruin your reach like that.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if I buy that though, but I don't know.
Peter, can you wake up?
This is my second
I'm here.
account.
Huh?
This is my fourth
I'm
account.
here.
I know, but you sleep. You're dozing off. This is why we are not doing no more night spaces. We're
Damn,
not.
damn, Peter, you're ruining everything, man.
Peter laying on his
Um,
back.
I
I
think
have
it's
laid in
Peter's
my own
fault the judge got blocked.
ashes.
It probably is. By
Peter, I want to know
associating with
what
Peter.
you. I want to know what's up with Peter going in like re-ups of space, and are you like trolling those people? He was in there like talking about like arguing with some guy. Who was it? You was arguing with Javon. Javon said no on reparations, and you was damn arguing with him. And I was like, "What the hell, Peter?" I was like,
So
You
Peter,
know I
you were pro
troll a lot.
reparations?
So I had said I evolved on the reparations issue. I said if we can get an unholy alliance where we form, an alliance with other individuals from the FBA space, I was creating my own group called ADOM, American Descendant of Mafiosi. An American Descendant of Mafiosi was going to support reparations, the money that basically is saved from getting these illegals and other individuals who don't belong here to be denaturalized. We would then have direct cash payments um, to the descendants of chattel slavery from the pool of money that we save. If
that
we
was
can,
mean. Why would you do that? That is mean.
why does that mean? I'm serious. If we save that money
You
by
don't
getting
have
this,
no group with that name, do you? You're not part of no group with that name.
it's a working idea. I'm thinking about
See,
putting it
that's
together.
what I'm saying. He's full of shit, and you was in there trolling him. That's mean.
Listen, this is Twitter. This is, we make things up, we have fun. There's a lot of trolling going on. I'm a troll god.
Peter, you be the
So
only one really trolling. A lot of spaces, people be serious. Like, because it was, and I'm not going to bring it up, but it was the one time I was serious. I'm like, stop mocking this particular organization and group. And I thought that was kind of a little bit too much out of line. But and that's what I'm saying. Like some people take certain things seriously, but and so you hop in spaces knowing that you could trigger people. See, you just want to trigger a group, not just one person. You want to trigger a group of people.
Hold on now.
I mean, it's funny.
And you can tell he's white when he's talking. And
I'm
I'm like,
offended by the word
Not
trigger.
white.
is
I'm
anybody believing
Moorish by
this
way
shit?
of Sicily. I'm Moorish by way of Sicily. Remember it.
So were you trying to say that the Moors that invaded was this? Are you a descendant of Hannibal or the Moors?
The Moors. I got the blood of the ancestors in my
But
veins.
wouldn't you be also a descendant of Hannibal as well?
I'm a descendant of everybody. So if anyone
You're a
is,
descendant of, okay. So how much how much percentage of white DNA whiteness you have?
what is white?
Caucasian. You're not Anglo-Saxon, honey. You would be.
What kind of white? Like trailer park white or Florida white?
No, he would be. He's Caucasian. Italian white. So they weren't considered white in America until what, the turn of the 20th
But I
century.
don't. But I don't consider myself white. That's the thing. Like
You
I
are
really.
white. You're white, Peter. You can't be
Peter checks
trolling black spaces talking about reparations. That's just not right.
Peter checks white on all his boxes because he wants the low interest rates on loans. He wants to be approved for that apartment and house. He wants the job. So you check white, honey. You check white. But
I feel like he's more of a Florida white, which is more of a beige until you get to the tan line.
I just saw where President Trump has endorsed Greg Abbott to be governor of Texas, to get a re-up, and he is so horrible. We don't want him. Trump
who?
Abbott.
I thought y'all liked him.
No, he's horrible. He's World Economic Forum. He takes payoffs from Muslim uh, communities here to let them build communities, big, huge communities that nobody wants here.
So who do you want? Who do you want instead?
I think there's Doc Chambers. I think it's his last name. I know his first name's Doc. But he goes by Doc.
When is the election? When is the Texas gubernatorial election?
It's not till next year.
Okay.
But I was afraid Trump would do that. He is the world's worst endorser.
Well, I don't think so, because Greg Abbott, he, especially under the Biden administration, he stood tall trying to block off the illegals as much as he can as a state, because he didn't get no help from the federal government.
No, he didn't. No, I mean, I live here.
Oh,
I live in
I
Texas.
live here too, and he did more than any other governor. He was arresting them for trespassing on private and state property. I didn't see that through any other state.
Well, yeah, it was because we pushed him to do something. Let us do it. The federal government pushed back on him, and he goes, okay.
Nancy, didn't he call in National Guard supposedly to hold off? He said
I
to hold
did.
off, but
Didn't he
it
put
turned
the
out
razor
Well, he
wire?
did. Here's what he did.
They were escorting the illegals to other
Didn't he put
states.
the razor wire in the water or something like that?
Whatever goes.
what?
Oh, that reminds me.
No,
When you said the
Nancy,
water,
seriously,
Here-
didn't he
that's a
call
I tell
pretty
you what they
crazy
did.
case.
Nancy,
That's
didn't he call in National Guard from other states, and they ended up coming in, and it wasn't really to keep the illegals out, it was to escort them to other states. Am I wrong about that? I think I heard
Yeah, I
that.
think that's true. I
Well,
know he was sending them to other states.
but he didn't have a choice. They were literally flooding his border by the millions.
Okay, but we had to pay to move them to another state. If this was all melodrama to make it look like he was
So
really
what was
doing
he
it,
supposed?
cost us
Well,
a ton of money.
Well, Joe wanted to say something. Go ahead, Joe.
Immigration and naturalization comes across our border is strictly a federal deal. State law enforcement officers in Texas, and I was one in Texas, you can't enforce federal immigration law. You can only enforce state laws, and there's no state law saying that it's unlawful for you to be here if you don't have proper citizenship status. But what he did do, because in Texas we own all our own land, unlike any other state in the union. There's not many, if there are, like it. It means the state of Texas owns all its own land, or people own the land. If there's any federal, there is some federal land, but it's bought and paid for by the federal government from the state of Texas. They have it. But down along the border, most of that land is either private on the American side or it belongs to the state of Texas. And I can't remember the town it was where they put the raised wire up. That was a park. That park belonged to the state of Texas. And what they said was they put signs on the other side of the river saying, if you come over here that's trespassing, we'll arrest you for it, because that's a state crime. He had troopers down there. They did bring in National Guard in and out. That's what they would, when you come across the fence, they were arresting you. He fought all the way to the Supreme Court, where the lower court said to remove our Supreme Court upheld that. Supreme Court ultimately even upheld him putting in the barriers in the river, those round orange things that you can't, they roll when you try to climb over them.
Oh yeah, with the razor, like it had the
No, it didn't have razor wire. It's just like a barrel. So like,
I thought it had blades on it, like a saw blades.
not on the things in the water.
Attorney General.
So it's like you can't. I got to. Yes, Attorney General did file those suits on behalf of the governor of Texas. That is true.
Oh, I mean, no, it was really him doing it, because I'm telling you, this guy, he's World Economic Forum. He's like, if you like Bush, you
Nancy,
like
I live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I understand what Greg Abbott is. I must think he's the best Republican out there, but I'm not really crazy about Republicans in the first place. But I think overall,
I think he's a piece of shit. He's a globalist. Okay. He's a World Economic Forum guy.
You don't have anybody that's running against him is going to beat him. I'll put it that way. This Doc guy.
Well, I don't care. They say the same thing about Lindsey Graham. You know, he's horrible. No, I would vote for him over Beto. But this is how we'd almost lost our country. You know.
Hey, Greg Abbott is like Beto or Rourke.
No, I said I would vote for him over Beto. But this is how we lose our almost lost our country pretty close because we keep going. Okay, well, yeah, he's okay, but he's World Economic Forum. I don't want him at all. I can't stand him.
I don't know anything about the World Economic Forum. I do know his record in Texas
Wait,
during
you
the
need to go
immigration.
look at it.
I love being cut off.
That's Davos. That's
Maybe you just
Davos.
write me a letter, tell me what I should think, and I'll start thinking that because that's a great conversation.
Well, I think Ohio, we have a governor election too. So 2026. Oh my God. That's
I'm in Georgia. I'm
I
really
think
curious to see if
Vivek's going to
Trump's
win,
gonna back
right?
Kemp. I bet he don't.
wait, Georgia has a governor election too?
Yeah, Brian Kemp, and him and Trump don't really see eye to eye. So I'll be curious to
Oh,
see
hold
if.
on, but Kemp can't run again.
Yeah, you're
He's
right. You're right. You're right. But
yeah,
I
Kemp's trying to
forgot.
run for senator. He's trying to run for a senator.
No. He's not. He's gonna take a position at some college, but he's trying to put his machine. He's got all his PAC money behind Raffensperger or Carr, the
Well,
attorney general. Both of them's crooked as
well,
AF.
I'm in Georgia, so like I know he's talking about running for a senate.
No, I'm in the GOP. I'm a county chair.
Ma'am, I'm in the GOP too,
Are you?
and I'm from Georgia. Yeah, I
Yeah.
volunteered for
Well, I
Trump.
am too, and I'm telling you, he's going for he's going to work. It's not Georgia State. I don't know. It's like one of the colleges, and he's going to get a crap ton of money.
Well, who
And
else is running in Georgia?
well, like I said, they've got Chris Carr running for governor, and who's the attorney general, and then they've got Brad Raffensperger, who's the current secretary of
Stacey
state.
Abrams is not running.
No, I haven't seen her. She's not on the list yet. I pulled it the other
Well, that's
day. I
because
haven't
she
seen
don't want
her.
to. She don't want
She's running
no
in North
federal
Carolina.
charges. She got
She's running for something in North Carolina. Last I
North
heard.
Carolina. Oh hell
Yeah,
no.
we switch politicians whenever they like run out here. You know what I'm saying? They'll go there and vice versa.
Wait a minute, but wasn't she caught stealing some federal funds? I think we need to. She need a subpoena or something. He needs to.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cause I have family. No, she can't. Let's sit her ass down somewhere. So okay, so we got Georgia, Texas, Ohio. I think it's some Democrat woman that's running against Vivek on the Democrat side, but I don't think it's another Republican running against Vivek. But it's gonna be, and then we have the midterms next year. It's gonna be a very
That's a huge year, 2026.
yeah,
This is
I think bigger
huge.
than last year, sort of.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we didn't have last year, we wouldn't even be talking about 2026 because we would have been screwed with Kamala. But 2026 is very important because if the House goes back to the Democrats, we're just going to see nothing but back to back to back investigations and different types of committees, and they're basically going to gum up the works, and we're not going to be able to have the last 2 years of the administration have any type of real policy change for what we voted for in 2024. So it is very important what we do this year coming up in the midterms. And as far as Vivek goes, I don't see him like really being challenged in your state, Dana. I think he's going to sweep it because I feel like he's very popular, at least from what I see.
Can I intersperse with something here? Joe, I just wanted to say that World Economic Forum is Klaus Schwab at
I know what it
Davos.
is. I don't need education with the WEF. I understand.
Oh, I thought
I
you
see
didn't
the
know.
connection.
I thought you didn't know. I'm sorry.
Well, no, you kept talking over. You really don't know what I said.
I'm sorry.
Joe is breaking up really bad. Is it just for me or is
No,
it y'all
Joe
too?
Joe is breaking up a little bit.
Breaking up for me too.
Nancy, I think the new head of WEF is Larry Fink. Klaus Schwab stepped down. Larry Fink is the new
It
head.
is, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Ohio.
fitting.
But see, the thing with Ohio, Ohio is very quiet. So on the optics, the outside optics, people, yeah, you think that he's gonna sweep. Inside the state, they're saying it's a really close call. It's not. He's not the favorite, but he's but I'm not saying that, he's going to lose. So in state they're saying it's going to be a tight race. On the outside, because Vivek is so known throughout the nation, people think, oh yeah, he's the favorite because he's popular. Not in the state.
Who's the governor now? Mike DeWine?
Yeah, DeWine. And this is last term. So
And he's a Republican, or what
he's
is
a
he?
Republican. I don't think I
Okay.
would be in the state if it was blue.
Right.
Now the city I'm in is blue, but even the blue cities, they know good and damn well, like they're very conservative blue. They're not liberal blue. I will say that. But yeah. So with that said, see governor, because it's not like it's presidential. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm wondering. See, a lot of times Republicans, they're only concerned with Congress and president. So are they concerned if a state goes blue for governor? Do they really care? That's
Right.
that.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Because they didn't care about Virginia. Even in Virginia, it's blue, but sometimes I guess it went red. But I don't know. And now people are trying to make Ohio purple because Ohio is usually red. I think it turned blue the last time for Obama, or did it turn blue for Hillary? I don't know, but yeah.
Who was it that was saying that was from Georgia? Was that Joe or was that somebody else? I couldn't, because they all showed
Goes from
listeners to me.
Texas.
No, Joe's from Texas. Exorcist is Georgia, and it was somebody else that said they were in Georgia. What, were you in
Well,
Georgia?
yeah, I was just going to say Derek Dooley's running for senator, and I heard from their team today, as a matter of fact, I was just thinking about that. And they said that they've got Kemp's backing. So Kemp, I heard that he was going to run for senator too a while back, but he's not.
Okay, so is it true? Because AOC tried to out Marjorie Taylor Greene, saying, "Oh, Marjorie Taylor Greene is just turning on her party and turning on Trump because Trump won't back
Yeah.
her for Senate."
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing too. Yeah. But she's just kind of whichever way. They're all crooked as
Oh yeah,
crap. I mean, look how much money she's made since she's been in there. They're all like that. I mean,
She
Massey,
does.
all of
yeah,
them.
but
I
she
hate
ain't
saying
make
it,
nowhere close to Nancy Pelosi.
no, but still, I mean, you shouldn't go
But
in there
Pelosi was
making
there for 40
200,000
years.
a year and come out making 20 million. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
They're selling us down the river, all of them. It's disgusting.
Not
that
Thomas
is true.
Massey. Massey's not.
Oh, I'm sure he is in some way. I mean, he votes with the Democrats these days more than he does the
But it's
Republicans. So I don't want to
about
hear his
okay.
crap.
Well, yeah, it depends on every once in a while. They're right on
He
something.
voted for all Biden CRs. Well,
But
the
see,
majority of
Massey's
them
he's
No,
from
anyway.
he did not. That's not true.
what
He
state is
voted for
Massey in? Kentucky?
yes. He voted for one because he was told that the spending cut would also go into effect afterwards and be voted on, and Johnson yanked it out. That's the only one he voted for, and Johnson backstabbed him. That's why he hates Johnson and doesn't trust him.
But Kentucky is red, so if he was to even try to be a Democrat, he'll lose. But his
No, he's a Ron Paul Republican. I met him.
so he's like a
Ron
rhino.
Paul. No, Ron Paul's not a
No, I'm
rhino.
talking about Massey.
No, okay,
I
Massey
wouldn't
is a
call
Ron
him. I
Paul
wouldn't call him a
Republican.
rhino. He's more of an
Peter,
independent.
I can tell you sleep because sometimes I'm gonna be paying attention who requests to come up, and you didn't bring Nikki up.
Not sleep.
Massey has a
I'm looking
99%
at Thomas.
lifetime
Bringing to
constitutional voting rating. He's got an A plus on every conservative voting schedule that I've looked at. He has an A plus from Gunners of America. He is the real America first.
Massey,
What about
Yes.
Rand Paul?
Well, I like them both, but I like
yeah.
Thomas.
He's another one. He's more independent too.
What state
No,
is
they're
Rand
not.
Paul from? What state does he represent?
Kentucky.
Oh, Rand Paul,
Kentucky too.
Kentucky too.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, if you can't be for the Constitution and liberty, if that's not what the Republican Party is, there's something wrong with the Republican Party because it used to be, and they get over a 90% on following the Republican platform, which is better than most Republicans there.
I who makes no, I mean, Nancy, you've also got to look at who gives those rates. I mean, you know what I'm saying? If you've got 99% of the Republicans voting one way and they're voting with Democrats, you know what I'm saying?
But no, but
Who
okay,
is
but
making who is making that poll
there's
there?
usually
I mean,
well, there's
you know.
all it goes. I've looked at every one of them. If you will check it, and he will tell you because he reads the bill.
Yeah,
But
it's
if you
going to
vote
tell you,
something in,
somebody else is telling you they vote 99% with Republican, except for the last,
okay, but if they throw
multiple
something
votes
in,
that they had.
if they
They're not voting with the
well, they
Republicans,
shouldn't.
Nancy.
They shouldn't if there's some kind of piece of shit in there.
Well, then keep voting with the Democrats.
Okay,
That's why I say you're not a Republican.
okay.
I mean,
I don't really care about the parties. I care about my country. And if they threw some piece of crap in there like McConnell did on this recent clean CR that's going to increase our national debt by $2 trillion, then they should turn it down. The go along to get along thing is how we almost lost our country.
well, I voted for Trump. I didn't vote for Massey.
Well,
You
okay,
know what
but
I'm
we
saying?
do have three
So
branches of
Massey needs to
government.
get in line. Massey needs to get in line because
We do have three branches
we're
of
behind
government, don't
Trump.
we? Have three branches of government. We don't have a king here.
No, we don't. But Massey's not the freaking president. He speaks for Kentucky.
No,
That's
right.
it. And apparently he speaks for the Democrats of Kentucky.
No, he speaks for our Constitution.
He votes more with the Democrats.
It
So you're
doesn't.
saying the
Okay. Oh
Democrats are
God.
more constitutionally minded than the
Okay, you
Republicans
sound like
are?
somebody that goes when you vote. It's like Republican. I don't care what they're for, what they're about, what they've done in their voting record. If they've got a red beanie on, I'm for them. Well, I don't do that.
So when was the last time Massey voted with the Republicans?
I was with them most of the time.
When was the last time?
Probably one of the last votes. I don't keep track of which every
Because what
vote
I
that goes on.
right, but because the reason why I ask that's because every time I'm hearing as of late of Massey in the news, it's because he's siding with Democrats. And now sometimes, of course, media they're going to they highlight stuff like that when you break away from your party. But he has done that too many times, and sometimes if you do it 3 times or twice in a year, that's one too many times. So
Well, too bad.
and then even when Biden was president, he sided with Democrats multiple times in a year. So he's
No.
but and so let's just say because we don't well I really don't most people don't pay attention, but let's just say they had 50 votes in a year, the Congress, and he only voted with the Democrats, let's say 10 times. All right, so that's not the majority of the votes, but that's still a lot to cross party lines.
But that's
but
not what he did,
but
though.
that's but even and this is why but this is Congress outside of your district. You are supposed it's supposed to be bipartisan. So where did it come from that you always have to vote your party line? Like, why is that a thing? Because all the Democrats are voting to keep the government shut down. Republicans want this bill passed to open it, right? And it took those 8 Democrats to on the Senate to cross party lines. Now, of course, they got their bonuses, their own personal treats for their district, but why can't Congress be more bipartisan? And for me, that's just an indicator that, of course, outside of the inside trading, that they are corrupt. Like they
What
don't care
Massey has
about
said,
us.
what Massey has said is what they do. He said it's all theater. What they do, they're buddies. He said the establishment, they're all buddies. It's a big act that they hate each other. And so what they do is they make backroom deals just with select few, and then they come and play out this play in front of us. And it's just an acting play that they've
Right.
constructed. You're going to do this and you're going to do this. And so it's all a lie. He's talked about all this kind of stuff since he first went to office. And, he was told, like, here's how you're supposed to vote. And he goes, what? I mean, because he's told us about this stuff since he first went there and exactly what was happening.
Well, all I know is I want Trump's agenda, and we basically have, with him and Paul, we've got 2 Democrats, and I'm not okay with
Well,
that.
that's fine because I'm for my country, and Trump is not. He's not doing some of
Well,
the
it
things.
sounds like you're a
Well,
Democrat. If you really
no, you're
support
not.
them that much, then
Trump is
you
not
agree with the
doing what he told us
Democrats.
he'd do.
You agree
Trump
with the
is not doing
Democrats
what he
more
told
than
us
you
he'd
do the
do.
Republicans.
Well, we don't have a king, so they're supposed to
Oh my
vote
God,
for
stop
their
with the king.
constitution for
The
their
king thing
constituents.
is so ridiculous. It drives me nuts. Hi, Dana, by the way. I didn't know you were in Ohio, so it's nice to see you again. Don't know what
Hi.
happened with Joe Brown, but yeah, I don't know where the like what happened. That's crazy. Um, the king thing is it put it to rest. Like that's a ridiculous thing to even say if you want to have a conversation, in my opinion. I mean, I just want to strangle, not literally, but um, yeah. I mean, and I think too, it is important to look at, what Massey's been doing because I've noticed a significant change in the last year, like since Trump has taken office. So you think critically when you're looking at stuff, you know? And, it's fine if you're a Democrat, but right now we have a Republican as a president that the country voted for with the mandate. So that's important to consider.
Well, yeah,
They're,
he
they're
is.
representatives. They're
But
representatives.
he's reading the bills, and he tells us
That's
why he's
that's
not going to vote against it or for it or whatever if you go look at it, because he actually reads the bill. And a lot of times we don't know what's been slipped in there, and the Republicans pat each other on the back. But it may be something if when we know, because I've always agreed with him. So very rarely do I do. I go, I didn't know that was in there.
Anybody on
And
stage
they,
or on the panel right now, how do you feel about them using the going nuclear and ending the filibuster? Do you think that's a good thing, or do you think that it's just
Heck
going to come
yes.
back and shoot us in the foot?
Filibuster. We've only got a short time. We need a filibuster, and Republicans need to redraw districts big time now.
I was conflicted on it because I'm like, you know what, you know, I think Harry Reid was the one who did that, where he changed the rules in the Senate, and then it came back to like really bite the Democrats in the ass. I was thinking the same thing; it could happen to us. But the more I think about it, we need to get voter ID in, and if they could do that by getting rid of the filibuster, I think that it's a good thing, as well as other aspects of policy they want to push. So I'm actually for it now. I think they should get rid of it, go nuclear, and let's just steamroll this policy through so we can get
Well,
through.
Massey's already said he's against that too. I'm pretty sure.
I didn't see what he said, but
yeah, because
sounds like
he's
it.
afraid of digital IDs that they're going to give those to us.
Mike
And additional dollar, and then we're cooked. We're done.
Mike has go ahead, Mike, you have your hand up.
Yeah, thanks, Dana. Lockie, I agree with you 100%. And Nancy, I mean, you've got a right to vote for whoever you want to, but however, I'm going to have to tell you, you definitely sound like a Democrat to me. I mean, if you like Ma'am Donnie and you like socialism and you like all of those things, go for it, girl.
When did
Because
I
that's
ever
what you're going
say
to
that?
get.
My first vote was for Reagan. I have never voted for a Democrat. What right? I like
Okay,
the
well,
Constitution
why are you saying that the Republicans are so damn bad and that
because
they're
they
all together?
are.
Tell me what's
All of
bad
them are
about the
bad.
Tell me what's bad about the Republican Party, please.
Well,
We
we
we had a clean
they're good.
CR
Okay,
bill,
it's going to put us
a
$2 trillion
continuous
more in debt.
resolution.
It's Biden level spending. They should have
Oh
taken
my
that and done
God,
more
lady,
cuts.
are you that lost? Really, are
Are
you that
you? It's
lost?
$2 trillion more in debt.
Honey, do you know how much money Biden spent while he was
This is a
asleep
Biden
and
level
everybody
spending
else
bill.
had the
Don't you get
auto
that?
pen?
It's a Biden
Give
bill.
me a break.
It's going
I'm
to put us,
sorry.
it is. It's going to put us $2 trillion more in debt. How far do you
Look,
think we can take this?
look,
Our dollar's going to collapse.
I'm not going to argue with you, but I wished I could convince you otherwise because you have really lost your freaking mind. And I'm
No, I
just going to
haven't.
be
I think
honest
you
with
have.
you. Oh no, ma'am. You
Oh,
have
yeah,
lost your
yeah.
mind.
I haven't either. And
You are a Democrat,
no, I'm not.
full-fledged,
I'm a
Ma'am Donnie,
constitutionalist.
socialist person. I
No,
bet
I'm
you like
not.
Bernie Sanders.
No, I'm not. I'm probably more libertarian than you are.
I doubt it, very
Well,
seriously.
I don't.
But I got to tell you,
I was for Ron Paul.
you come to the wow, Ron Paul. Okay, of all people, Ron Paul.
Yeah, he's very
Boy, he's
libertarian.
a good one.
Yeah, he
He
is.
sure
Oh,
is.
he absolutely is.
He breaks with the Republicans all the damn time on stupid shit. He didn't even vote for the clean CR, for crying out loud.
Ron Paul, Rand's father.
I don't give a shit. Two shits.
Talk
I'm
about the
telling
right
you how the
person, though. You
man
need to talk about the
votes.
right person.
I'm telling you how the man votes, okay?
Talking about the wrong guy. You don't even know
Jesus.
which guy you're talking about. Ron Paul is Rand's father, and he ran for president twice. Okay?
Okay, did you not say
Reagan
Rand
really liked
Paul?
him, huh?
She said Rand, but she likes Ron as well. I think she
Yeah,
No,
said.
I thought she said
Ron is
Rand.
who I voted for twice.
Okay, but you like Rand Paul, you said.
Not as well as Ron, but yeah, I like him. It's not. I don't agree with him
Okay,
on
so
everything for
he
sure.
votes against the Republican Party
No,
all the
he
time.
votes for the Constitution.
Rand Paul is a
Sometimes he's
fucking
with the
rhino,
Republicans, and
okay?
sometimes he's
I'm
not.
just going to tell you like it is. But
You
anyway,
can tell me your opinions, but you don't do.
there's no way that I'm going to convince you otherwise. Your mind's made up, but I just had to
Just
say
like
my
yours
piece.
is. Just like yours is.
My mind is on making this country great again, and
So
your
is
mind,
mine.
no, it's not. No,
Yeah,
it's
it
not.
is.
Because
You're not paying
if you
attention to
think
our
the
debt.
Democratic Party is going to save your
No,
country,
it's not. But neither's the Republican if they keep doing what they're doing.
okay,
I'm not for Lindsey
look,
Graham. I'm not for Lindsey Graham. Those kind of Republicans, they're horrible.
so who do you like in the Democratic Party, Nancy?
I don't know any of them besides AOC. I can't stand her. Nancy Pelosi, I
Fetterman.
can't stand her.
I'll trade some of these for Fetterman. How's that?
Fetterman's probably the best Democrat there is.
What did he just switched over to a Republican?
Did
No,
he?
he didn't. Did he really?
He was on the View, and I think he's going to or something.
Oh
That's
my
what he
gosh, I
Well,
said.
that's
hadn't heard
good.
that.
Isn't
Yeah, I
it
can't say.
wild?
Go
I
ahead,
can't
Joe. Just
say
jump
a
in.
Democrat that I really like.
I
I'm
would get
trying
rid
to
of
think
John
right
Cornyn.
now.
I'd get
I
rid of
can't think
John
of one.
Cornyn. I'd trade him in for Fetterman any day.
Yeah, I don't know.
Joe, you want to
If
say
I was
something?
going to, my favorite Democrat is Fetterman, and I'm a Republican. True, true,
I agree with
true
you
and
on
But
that.
red.
you know what? I would say this, and Joe, you're still muted. I know you had. I was saying, go ahead and speak. For me, Fetterman is a statesman, not a politician, and there's a difference. We need more statesmen in who we elect.
And
I
press me
look at
as of
Fetterman
late, but
as a
what I raised
statesman.
my hand to say was, is that Trump's playing a gambit on this deficit, and it's not a dumb one. And if he pulls it off, it'll be great. But for every point in the GDP we add, if for every percentage point our GDP grows each year, it adds $1 trillion to our value, if you will. The overall value of the dollar. That's where it goes directly into. And what that does is that goes against our debt. So if he can raise it 3 points, we get 3 point growth out of this year, which they're kind of talking about. That'll be $3 trillion off of our debt. That combined with cutting expenditures, which we've seen the Doge done. I'm not sure how successful they were on it, but those two together is starting to grow us into the debt and reduce the debt at the same time, and we should come out better. It's a gambit. But in order for him to do that, he's going to take every Republican, the masses, and this is what I think about the Constitution type of guys out there. Everybody's going to have to get on board because he's going to need legislation from Congress to do that. One is the HOPE Act, which will force hedge funds to divest out of single-family homes. That will release an untold amount of inventory has been bought up since 2008 with the housing crisis. We had a lot of empty homes. Hedge fund investments, because it's a good investment. Real estate is. They jumped in and started buying them. And if you have a 401k, you own U.S. American single family homes, whether there's someone living in them or not. But that's where this investment's gone. That needs to go through. These things that everybody's got to get on board. I don't care what you think, what you're grandstanding for on the Republican Party. They need to get on board and get those passed. Without those, everything Trump's doing is going to be for naught on the economic side. Everything
I
he's trying
agree
to
with
do on the
I
economic
agree with
side is
that
going
in
to take
theory, but
Congress
we
to
need to
do.
make
And
sure that they
and
don't
I'm not
put
a real
something
party
really
guy,
bad
to
in
be
there.
honest with you, on either side of them. I think they're all crooks, no matter which way you throw the dart. But in this case, if Trump's going to get by this gambit and have a chance of making it work, he's going to have to get Congress on board.
What do you think about the 50-year mortgage, and who's speaking? Because I can't tell. I'd like to follow you.
Oh yeah, I should have put that up there too. That's a good question. The 50.
That was Joe Lanu speaking.
Yeah,
That
lose
question's
everybody.
for Joe. Go ahead. Yeah.
No,
Maybe
I think
yeah.
she asked who was speaking so she could follow him. She couldn't see who
I agree
who
with
said
that,
that.
Joe. I do. I just hope they don't throw something bad in there, you know. But I agree with that totally.
I
So
don't think he
Joe,
can
what's
hear me.
I
Y'all
think what
ask him what he thinks
the,
about that 50 years. Sorry.
he just dropped down, and we're gonna try to bring him back up. But it's interesting what he said is it'll take 3 million or 3 trillion off the national debt, but we have a trillion every year in interest payments. So if in reality it would pay 1 year worth of interest and then take off 2 trillion from the principal. So we wouldn't really lose the 3 trillion. We would lose basically 2 trillion. We'd go down to, I guess, what is it, 30, be 36 at this point because we're at what, 38 trillion, teetering on going to 39,
And they
which
were
is
saying,
insane.
but does that 50-year mortgage, does that benefit the banks? And then somebody was
Oh,
saying,
1,000%. Yeah, of course.
and somebody said that because people were saying 50 years, oh my God, that's a lot. And then I heard some people talking about FDR is the one that created 30-year mortgage. And during that time, that was like a shocker, like, oh my God, 30-year mortgage, but that's so common for us today. So
Yeah,
it
but
sounds a lot.
anybody,
Mhm.
yeah, but if you're going to take that to term, like you're never going to own your home, like because
Right, and
at this,
that's what, yeah, it's that's on, like, you're basically a long-term renter, which benefits the bank, BlackRock, and all those other, subsidiaries. So 30 years is bad enough. People barely paying off their homes, and
But Dana, who really carries it to try? Who doesn't pay off
that's what I'm
early?
saying.
Who
Yeah,
doesn't try
that's
to
what I'm
throw?
saying. Yeah,
Who
Rusty,
does?
like if you're taking it to term, you got bigger problems. Like you should be making the extra payments so that you can pay it off. Ultimately, you want to pay it off, I would say in 10. If you could pay it off in 10, you're going to pay like almost next to nothing in interest. And then you'll be able to refi, and you could even cash out, or you could flip it into another property
so
that you
would
get.
that be a pro of the 50-year mortgage will allow people to at least get a home, but then once they get in, they can set up a plan to pay off that 50 mortgage in 10-15 years.
Yeah, that's if they're smart enough. But people are stupid. Like look at people with their credit card debt. They people pay the minimum payments and they never pay the credit card debt off. And you're at 29% interest right now on credit card debt. So you think people are really going to be smart enough to make the extra payment? No, they're going to get the house and then they're going to, I have to get this car and I have to keep up with the Joneses. That's what's going to be happening in a lot of these communities. I don't I don't like it. I think it will come to pass, but I don't think it's a good thing because you're also going to see massive inflation at the same time. Like we have a major problem with spending and our debt. And if we don't get it under control, it's eventually going to snowball to the point where it's not going to be controllable. And that is where you get into the powers that be trying to reset the world economy with some type of war or crashing the currency and starting fresh and new, which is, what we saw in the past. So we don't want to see that happen again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and let's not forget people that, let's not forget the $350 billion that Joe Biden gave to Ukraine. That's $350 billion. Okay? Trump wants to end this war, but what Trump did was he went in there and he got all their mineral rights, period. We don't have to pay for them or anything. But yeah, we've got to get Russia's ass out of there. That's true.
Well, we
But
don't. Why do we got to get Russia out of there? That's not. I don't think
because
that's our problem.
Russia needs to leave Ukraine,
Why? Like,
they
I
do.
mean, why should we care? That's what I'm asking. Because Trump
Zelensky has
did
got to be
say,
replaced. Zelensky has got to be replaced. He was put in by Obama back in 2014. And Nancy, don't give me a thumbs down, honey, because you don't know nothing, okay? I'm just telling you, girl, you don't know nothing. You keep talking that shit, but you don't know nothing. I'm
Okay,
telling you.
Joe. Yeah, sure. Uh-huh.
No, you don't. You don't know nothing. You don't know shit about the
It's not Joe,
$350
Nancy.
billion.
It's Mike. Mike's talking to you. It's not Joe.
You
Oh,
know,
Mike. Okay. Yeah, Mike. Okay, fine.
you don't know nothing. I
All
mean,
right. Oh,
you
yeah,
need
I know.
to
You know
at
everything,
least
big
know what you're
man.
talking about if you're going to open your mouth. That's all I can tell you.
I do know what
Okay.
I'm talking about.
You
Well,
know,
you don't
I have a
because you haven't
question.
made any sense to me yet.
Well, that would
Well, I
be
got
a
to
you
stick.
problem, not a
I
me
got
problem,
Mike. I got to
Mike.
stick up for Nancy in regards to libertarian values. I'm a libertarian. I agree with getting rid of the Federal Reserve
Moki, you're
and going.
bipolar. This is the first time I heard you even utter the word libertarian. Stop.
No,
Lucky.
I say it in a lot of
Seriously,
spaces.
what was the name of that group that you founded again?
This is
Right.
funny.
ADOM, American Descendant of Mafiosi.
Yeah, stop.
Yeah, that's who you're
Here,
talking
yeah,
to. Just so you know.
I have a question. This is serious. What, how, okay, so what is, first of all, what is going on with the meat, with the beef, with the cows, and Trump sent how many millions of billions to Argentina to help them with their
So he
agriculture?
didn't send money. They were credit swaps. All right.
Okay, can we
It's
have
not
this
that
discussion because something is going
It
on.
it
They're killing our farmers, and we need to be having our own ingrown beef. The Amazon, they're killing the Amazon because of beef. So
Dana, I'm in a lot of those Maha groups that and a lot of the ranchers and stuff like that. I don't claim to understand it all, but the ones that I have heard from, they understand it. It's an attempt to lower the beef prices right now temporarily, but they are um, also working with Trump on some other stuff to help our ranchers here. But it's basically, from what I understand, an attempt to bring down beef prices here
here.
because
It's
it's high.
it's the
I have it
packers,
from
a
AI. Right.
processing problem.
A
It's
currency swap between the United States and Argentina involves an agreement where both countries commit to exchange sums of their respective currencies though the actual exchange only occurs when one party activates the swap. The US Argentina currency swap, finalized in October 2025, establishes a $20 billion credit line, allowing Argentina to draw US dollars from the US Treasury when needed, while the US gains an equivalent credit in Argentinian pesos. This swap is not an immediate transfer of funds, but a standby arrangement designed to bolster Argentina's international reserves and stabilize its foreign exchange market during periods of financial stress. The activation of the swap allows Argentina to use the funds freely, typically for debt payments or imports, and once drawn, the amount becomes part of its central bank reserves. However, using the swap creates a debt obligation, as Argentina must repay the borrowed dollars plus interest at a later date. Economist Juan Manuel Teleca noted that this repayment expectation distinguishes the swap from development aid, making it functionally similar to a loan. So,
what's the
and they had Scott
translation of
Bessent.
that? It's a loan.
Basically, so essentially, they're going to get access to credit, but they have to pay it back, and when they pay it back, they have to pay it back with interest.
Okay,
So we're
fine, but
basic.
are our farmers being affected?
I have to
yeah, the
read more.
small farmers are not happy, the ranchers, because we're going to use Argentina cattle. The big problem is the processors. There's what, three or four of them, and some of them are foreign. They have to make appointments like a year out, almost a year out, if you want to take your cattle there, because we are not allowed to use local small processors because you have to hire a full-time government official to sit in there the whole time. And so there's legislation out there to where there would just be spot checks. We can have it done locally. That would
Right. So okay,
drastically
wait. So
reduce our costs.
let me to get a better understanding. So the farmers, they have to get their cows from Argentina.
No, no, no. But I'm talking about there's only three or four processors that they can use to butcher the cow, to sell the meat separately, the steak separately. Otherwise, you have to buy like a whole cow and you can split it with somebody. You can't just take it to a local processor and have it processed and let them sell the meat individually, like by steaks or hamburger and all that kind of stuff. You can't. You have to take it to a big processor. That's where most of the cost. They're the ones that are making out like bandits.
But Dana's asking, what does that have to do with the Argentina beef we're getting?
Well, it has to do with the price of the beef. which is kind of was the whole conversation, I thought.
Well,
Argentina,
so are we getting the beef processed directly from Argentina? I mean, they're doing the processing there, and we're getting to
no,
get it.
I don't know where they're doing it. Probably
So,
sending
all
it to
right.
one of the
So
big
let
packers.
me ask this question so I can have a better understanding. So, are they trying to monopolize the processing of the beef?
In
So,
Argentina, no, but it is monopolized by those 3 or 4
So
big
hold on.
processors.
right.
So the
So
Trump, hold on.
wait one
The
second.
Trump,
Two of
One
the
second, Peter. Wait 1 second. So, if it's only 3 companies that are allowed to process the beef, that's kind of cutting out your local farmers for doing the job themselves.
Absolutely, and that's where
but
they're
it's not
the ones
cut
that are
out
making
by
out.
not cut out by legislation. It's how factory farms gone. And I think there are you have a place where they kill the animal, and you have a place where they process it, packing. There are more packing plants than there are kill houses. But I think there are 4 kill houses. 2 of those owned by a Brazilian company. Brazilian beef is really a more threat to our local farmers than Argentine beef. I don't know what this deal he made with the Argentine president on. I know there's some guaranteeing some loans back for nothing real. I don't know if they made a deal on cattle, but most of your beef now, the way it works is this: if Argentina sends over of slaughtered beef,
Wait, Joe, your
it's
phone
shipment
keeps
it
going
gets.
in and out. It keeps going in and out, the connection.
you're rugging
I
pretty hard.
don't know why. It looks like I've got a connection. How about no better?
Say something.
No, it's
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that better? You hear me better now?
It'll start off good, but then it'll like just
yeah,
You're
like
rubber
delays
banding.
after 2
You're
seconds.
rubber banding.
Let me reset. Maybe check an update. I'll come back. Let me see
okay.
what's up.
Yeah, so Dana, I'm looking it up right now, right? So it says the Trump administration has proposed a plan to significantly increase beef imports from Argentina, aiming to alleviate record high beef prices in the U.S. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins confirmed the administration's intent to strike a deal with Argentina, stating it would be temporary and involve a limited amount of beef. The plan involves raising Argentina's low tariff beef import quota from 20,000 metric tons a year to 80,000. So they're going to 4x it, effectively
She's a big
quadrupling the
agri
amount.
person. She's a big agri person. I posted something down in the purple pill. If you look at it, it comes from the Beef Initiative. They'll give you answers to what we need to do.
Yeah. So it says critics argue that the influx of imported beef undermines U.S. ranchers who are experiencing a rare profitable year after years of financial strain. Christian Lovell, senior director of Farm Action, called the potential deal a betrayal of the American rancher, stating it feels like they are being sold out to a foreign competitor. But the administration defends the plan by asserting it will lower consumer prices in the short term while also implementing measures to strengthen the domestic beef industry long term. These measures include expanding ranchers' access to federal grazing land and prioritizing grants for military veterans entering the industry. A White House spokesperson, Anna Kelly, stated the administration is fulfilling its promises to support both farmers and consumers. I mean, it's from this, it sounds like it's going to be a good thing because people are complaining ad nauseum about how expensive food prices are, specifically beef. So if this lowers the price that people are going to be able to buy beef for in the short term, and then also in the long term allows ranchers to have more access to better land to be able to develop their cows, I say why not?
Yeah, all the ranchers that I hear in spaces, they're pretty understanding of it, and they feel like it's going to get worked out, and they understand why Trump's doing it, and they ultimately feel it helps them as well.
Right.
But
I mean,
I
go ahead,
think
Dan.
I think for me, because I have no knowledge of agriculture, and I mean, and I think we should, but I think that's part of being pampered poodle Americans. But agricultural and farmers are very vital. At one, it seemed okay. It seemed like if you a century ago, and that's the 1900s, and even 2 centuries ago, but even in a century ago, when we look at farmers, cattle, and our ingrown farmland to feed the nation, and you look at what we have today, and I'm not even specifically talking about black farmers because that went from 60% to what, 5%. But even with white, just farmers in general has decreased over the years and over the centuries. And
That started with the Carter administration. Look at that. That was a big stink. I heard an old time guy that had a farm here, and Carter basically cut them off at the knees, started regulating what they could and couldn't, how much of certain products that they could
and then you
farm.
bring in Monsanto's, because when did Monsanto's come into existence? Was that under the Carter administration? Because they really monopolized um, the whole farming industry, the whole agriculture industry. So
Carter was a horrible man. People don't realize he's also
President
the one that,
Carter, why is he? Why
yes,
is he?
because he was the one that started strangleholding the farmers off. I mean, like there was a big. I mean, like they took tractors and all that stuff up there to DC to, like back in the 70s. Yeah,
That was
We
the whole
lost
oil embargo
Department of
40.
too,
Education too.
Carter, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
He
and
created the Department of Education, and our kids have never been dumber.
that's right. And also what Carter did, we lost 43,000 American men digging the Panama Canal to malaria, and he gives it to Panama for $1. Okay? And now when you go through the Panama Canal, you have got Chinese buildings all along the side of it, and nothing but Chinese there.
Well,
Okay, so
Trump forced.
this is all Democrat stuff that's going on. And Cliff, I wish he would take a mic because he has a video about cattle that I really wish you guys would watch. And this started in during the Biden administration and probably during the Obama administration. They're putting shit in the grass to where the farmers go out of business raising cattle because it's poisoning the cattle. And it's a damn good video. It's a good watch. It's long as hell,
What is it?
but
Was
if
it
you
on
watch it,
YouTube?
if Cliff would take a mic, if he'd raise his hand or something or request a mic, I don't know if you see Cliff or not, but he does have a video. I know he's going deer hunting in the morning, so he's got to get up early, but he's got a video that makes a lot of sense. And these farmers, these cattle farmers in America, during the Biden administration, were being driven out of business. I mean, you remember the 18,000 cattle that all of a sudden died in a fire when Biden was in office? 18,000 heads of cattle.
Yeah, I remember that.
But yeah,
And they
and
culled all them chickens too, saying, yeah, yeah. I mean,
yeah,
that's the
Bird
reason why
flu or
eggs
some
went
shit.
Well,
sky high. Yeah.
Monsanto's, they were created in 1901. Oh wow. But yeah.
I
But
think the
it
scariest part is
it
Bill
was
Gates talking about vaccines in the cattle, so that
Yeah.
they could just
Okay,
administer
why is
vaccines
it
to the food.
why is
Especially
Bill
making it
Gates
so everybody knew
allowed
that.
why is this, why they're not telling this man to sit the fuck down? Like, why are they allowing him to do all this experimentation? Like, what is going on there? But I see
He's
Cliff.
literally like a James Bond villain. It's like crazy at this
Yes, they're
point.
sold out.
I want to go to Cliff to speak to the farm and agriculture and stuff. Go ahead.
Evening, everyone.
Hi.
Thank you for the mic. Listen, if you go down into the purple peel, you will see what Mike's talking about. That's the reason I didn't accept the mic first because I was looking for it and I found it. You'll see what it is. It is a very lengthy video. It ought to be concerning. So all I can tell you is what I've seen is the chemicals that are being used is actually poisoning the ground and also the stream and also what the cows eat. It's sort of like the chronic waste disease amongst deer. And it's also poisoning and killing people too.
All right, I just bookmark it. I'm gonna watch that tomorrow. I really do appreciate you sharing that. When we actually think, like, looking at stuff like that is I mean, should we even eat meat? Because honey, I'm not about to go shoot no deer and skin it and doing. I can't live like that. I can't do it. I'm grew up in a city, urban at that. I will just eat and shit. Even the seafood, honey,
Dana,
have chemicals in it.
beef. You can look at Beef Initiative. There's also some other websites out there, but Beef Initiative will hook you up kind of with local farmers and stuff like that. Um, that don't use vaccines and all that stuff on their cattle. So I mean, um, that's definitely a go to. And if you find that you have any um, cattle producer near you that has clean, unvaccinated meat, you also want to look at the way they treat them. Are they grass fed, all that kind of stuff, and um, not living in their own excrement, that kind of thing. You really want to make sure you support those. We've got to start making. That's where we make changes through our money.
And I want everybody here to know one thing about Monsanto's. These people are cross-pollinating son of a bitches, okay? Pardon my French, but they are. And it is, they have poisoned our crops. They have genetically modified every damn thing we grow. You take, it even goes to the chicken farms, to Tyson. Those chickens are grown in the dark. They never see the light of day. They're given so many damn hormones, a chicken will be a full-grown chicken in 6 months, okay? And it's just pumped and pumped full of all these steroids and all these poisons. But the cattle market, there's one thing about a farm, a big cattle farm, okay? Back when Biden was in office, this shit started because these solar farms wanted this property. And the only way to run these cattle farmers off was to make it to where it was no longer sustainable to even raise cattle. So these big ass farmers were forced to sell their land to big ass solar farms. Now you take a bird flying over a solar farm. You know what happens to a bird? He fries. It just fries him and he falls to the ground. You take the windmills. How many birds does it kill? A shit ton of them. That is not sustainable energy. It never will be. Ask Texas when they had the ice storm. Guess what? The damn things fell apart, broke all the shit. People went months and months without electricity. All of this stuff is coming from the far left to implode the United States from within. And that's what they want to do. And you have to realize that to even be understanding about it. And that's what's going on in the real world. And this platform right here is the only place where we can really talk about it and get the truth out to everybody. So, that's all I want to say. But,
I
Cliff,
1000% agree with you. You're absolutely right.
yeah. So, it's just, I mean, you think about it. Socialism, communism is trying to take over this country. Look at the Muslims that are in here with all their mosques and their loud prayers with these big, huge speakers. Like, let's take Michigan, for example. Um, 5 times a day, taking over entire cities. Um, Epic City in Texas. I mean, they're taking over, guys, and it's up to us to protect our country.
Well,
And
I
we've
get
got to
that,
do
Mike.
everything
That's
we
where me and
can.
you kind of part ways right there, Mike. I I don't, I
Well,
don't,
tell
I
me
don't,
why.
I don't
Tell
kick,
me why,
I
Dana.
don't kick the backs in of Muslims because my grandkids are Muslim. However,
Well,
but well, I don't kick backs in on nobody's religion. What I do see, I will say this, what I do see when it comes to a Muslim community, and these are, they're more specific, Arab descent, but I see them pooling their money and resources together to build their strong community. The same as what Jewish people do. They're doing the same thing Jewish people continue to do here in this country. Now, I think Muslims, they are stereotyped because 9/11 and everything else that's been going on throughout the world. It is a stereotype. But that's nothing new what they're doing, because other religions, because what they do, it's a religion. Jewish religions, even certain Christians, depending on which Christians, Catholics as well, they do create their own community. But listen, if they're following the laws and they're putting money behind it, people can do that. They can do that. So
Well,
I'm not gonna say, oh, it's a problem because they're Muslim. I would say the problem is, should a particular group of people be allowed to separate themselves and create their own society based on religion, sex, race, because in a constitution, you really can't do that. So, constitutional wise, I will give pushback. But because you are a certain religion, I'm not going to say you shouldn't because you're Muslim. Do you get what I'm saying?
So I think the issue, Dana, also has become one of the people pushing for Sharia law in some of these communities, like you said, like, where people are talking about, and a lot of it could be hyperbolic on online or videos, but it is concerning where they're saying we're going to conquer this area and we're going to institute Sharia law. I don't see how they could do that because they
Well, they
wouldn't be able
can't.
to get past.
You can't do it.
Oh,
You can't institute an outside entity law into this country. Legally, they can't do it. Constitutional wise, they can't do it. I think that I think that is a narrative that was created to stop those said groups from creating their own communities, because you can't do that. That's not recognized here in this nation. So I'm not concerned about that. I think because they're stereotyped, but then if we want to have a concern, maybe the concern will be when people do break off and build their own communities, the bad people, the sleeper cells, they insert themselves in these communities amongst innocent people, and so that they can bring destruction in this nation. Now, the stereotype is they just put a Muslim face, but we got to understand the face of these sleeper cells are Asian. It may be, of course, Arab or Muslim, and a lot of them, they are not just, they don't do it in the name of a particular religion. They just dislike this country and they're loyal to whatever other country. And there are also people who are Christian fanatics. So I think that would be a concern. Are the bad sleeper cells going to insert themselves in these said communities?
just a quick point of
Dana,
order,
can
guys. We're
I?
going to be closing in the next 20 minutes. So if you do want to come up and speak on this, please raise your hand and come on up. So we're going to stop bringing people up probably in the next 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, so go ahead, Mike, then Joe, and then Nancy.
Yeah, Dana, I just want to ask you this. Do you think that the Quran and Sharia law is a religion?
No, the Quran is that's the religion of Islam.
Okay, do you think that you would, I mean, would you consider that to be a true religion?
What do you mean a true religion? Like, but that's not my religion,
It
but that's a true religion to someone who practices it.
okay, okay, all right. So it's okay for men to have five women when we're not allowed to have polygamy in the United States, or however many women they want to have, and beat them down and have honor killings and all of those things. Do you think that's right? under Sharia law.
No, but see, Sharia law is not practiced here. Sharia law is practiced in other countries, Muslim countries, not here. And so, but a person, a Muslim person, and I don't even think that's in Sharia law, beating on a woman, because that's looked down upon in the Muslim religion, but in Islam. However, you're talking about a culture of a country, not so much a religion. So it's a culture and it's a religion. But and so the reason why this is why I don't talk negative about someone, what religion they choose to practice, because that's your business and that's your right. Because I look at it, I have 4 grandkids, their father's Muslim, and my daughter, she converted to a Muslim or whatever, and I think she converted back, but he was a Muslim through and through, so they're Muslim. Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
You
I can
Or is
still
my
hear
whatever.
phone?
you.
Yeah.
So my concern is my oldest granddaughter, she wears her hijab, and she's proud of that. I don't never want her to experience any type of issue, discrimination, or be attacked verbally or physically because she's wearing her hijab. Because she's not taught to treat people disrespectful. She's taught to respect all walks of life, all religions, and I will want people to do the same for her, and that is my concern. That's a real concern. So I don't, I'm very that's I don't talk about the Jews either. Now Zionist is different. That's not a religion, but even a Jewish religion. So I say all that to say is religion could be a hot topic, but Muslims are very much stereotyped, but they do pull their resources together and build their community. So
I think there's also a distinction to be drawn between Muslims and people who practice Islam in a first world nation like the United States, and those who are in third world countries where, like Mike said, some of these other practices are commonplace. And I think we have to draw that distinction. And I think that's an important reason why we shouldn't be bringing individuals into this country who don't share our culture, don't share our values, and want to bring some of those, third world, medieval type of behaviors into the country and spread the ideology.
well, when you look at the Jewish religion, again, this is people's religion. So however you practice your religion in your household, in your community, is your business, and you have free will and the freedom to do that. Implementing that into law is something totally different. No, you cannot do that, and that would never happen.
But
But
Dan,
people are thinking that that's what Muslim people are doing. They can't do it. It's no way you could do it. But if you practice, Jewish people who are very what do you call it, Orthodox Jews, very old time religion, and that's what they practice. So why is it that a person who is Muslim, why do they get negatively stereotyped? Oh, well, they have more than one wife. Well, there are a lot of men that got 5 baby mamas, and he ain't taking care of none of them. Now legally you cannot have more than one wife here. We don't practice that here, right? Legally. But if you get a woman pregnant and you get another woman pregnant and they're Muslim, well, they're treating them, they're operating in that type of space to where you put that one up in the house, that one up in the house, and you got to treat them equally. But men, y'all always did that. So it's just that in the Muslim religion, they practice having more than one wife to populate to have more children, but you have to take care of all of your wives. But now we're talking about, this is why I believe in separation of church and state. I really don't like it when politicians or Americans, oh, well, we need to bring Christian values back in this nation. No, those are your personal values. I believe in separation of church and state for this very said conversation. And we forget that. We have state laws, we have a constitution, we have legislation. Your religion is your religion. And your religion should not impose on our Constitution. Do you get what I'm saying?
Our
I
money
definitely
says in God we
I
trust.
understand. I understand what you're saying, Dana, but there's two examples that I want to point to very quickly before we get back to the hands. And one of them is there was two doctors that were arrested last week or a week, 2 weeks ago from the DOJ that were performing female genital mutilation on different young girls at their clinic. And they were arrested for doing this, and they were propagating what they did in other countries here. A second example is what I put in the nest, which is a foiled terror attack out of India, right? So these individuals were in the process of securing the precursor chemicals and making ricin, which is a extremely potent poison that they could kill a lot of people with. It only takes a very small amount to kill somebody with ricin. And if you ever saw Breaking Bad, you know that that's what he used in one of his ways to kill people. So these are the types of individuals that we don't need coming into the country. And this is the type of distinction that I'm trying to draw from people who are radicalized and only mean us harm, and those who actually want to just practice their religion as they see or what they conceive as God has spoken to them to be able to do so and do that. But if you're going to be coming over here and trying to conquer the area, change the laws and the culture of an area so much so that you can't even walk in the area if you're not of that religion, that's something that needs to go out of here as quickly as possible.
But who said that was happening? Who said
Happening,
that they were
happening
creating
in Dearborn,
who
Michigan.
who said that they were creating a community to where
Look in Minnesota.
nobody else could come in this community? Now do we have gated communities in this country? Yes, we do. That only people who live there can go through those gates. So again, are you following the law? I don't care what you practice. I don't care what you want to do. Are you following the laws in your city, in your county, in your state, and in this country? We have laws. There's no amount of money, well, unless you are a corporation and you're paying off politicians, but that's a corporation. But there's no amount of money a group of people can allocate to try and change laws in their favor. So I think people, again, I think a lot of times these conversations are being led by stereotypes, because what you're talking about, Peter, of course, everybody, I don't, from every religion, from every background, needs to be vetted coming into this country. So, again, but if they're Muslim, then that's all of those stereotypes, because the same doctor that you talked about, there are so many cases with people doing, horrific things that are Christian, that are Jewish, that are white, that are black. So we can't just label, well, if they're Muslim, we have to vet them thoroughly, as opposed to someone who's Christian, we don't have to vet them as much coming into this country. No, you vet everybody. And I'm sorry, I think we need to have enough faith. Well, we need to have, we need to, we need to have enough faith that our CIA is competent enough, and the FBI and our Department of Justice and Homeland Security are competent enough, because they're the ones that know how to sniff out, individuals who are high alert. Your average person, because that person is Muslim, you automatically think, well, we got to keep an extra eye on this person living in our community because they're Muslim. And that's what I don't like.
I hear what you're
Dana,
saying, but there was also programs that were put into place to go into madrasas and masjids to monitor what the clerics were saying in the prayer on Friday, and a lot of these individuals were stoking flames and fomenting violence within the individuals of the community and the church. I mean, that should not be going on. I'm
Right.
sorry, of the
But that's
mosque.
not going on in every mosque.
I'm not saying it is. I'm saying it does happen.
But those mosques that are being surveillanced, again, that is because the FBI, CIA, well, not CIA, because that's international, but the FBI, Homeland Security, they're the ones who are monitoring that. So and I'm pretty, and here's the thing is, why are we only hearing about Muslims to where there are a lot of radical terrorist Christians?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we also hear about
But
those
they're being
apostates.
monitored too. They're being monitored too. They're being, listening on as well. But the conversation, whether it's on social media or on the news, is always a Muslim face. And I'm not saying, oh, all Muslims are perfect. Nobody isn't perfect. But what I'm saying is our national security is monitoring multiple people who come from different backgrounds and religions. It's not just a Muslim face.
I understand that. When we have the mayor of New York City literally saying globalize the intifada, I think that we have some issues going on in the country regarding who is coming into the country and who we're letting in and who we're letting take power. And I think that we need to really examine what's going on with that.
Well, that's George Soros guy. And George Soros is a Zionist. So Dandy is saying a lot of shit that the governor very kindly put a halt to half of the stuff half of his agenda. But people think socialism is good. But we all know, people don't, well, the right people know that New York City is done. And it's not because Mandandi is so bad. It is because the people, who he worked for, who he's a puppet for, they're bad. So let's look behind who funded him. His Alex Soros and all those people. For what? For their benefit, for their agenda. But again, us regular folk, we're stuck on, well, he's a Muslim and we need to watch him. But you need to watch the money that's funding him and their agenda. And it's way deeper than call to prayer or because he's Muslim. It's way deeper than religion.
I agree with you. I agree with you. And then for anybody who's asking, Judge Joe Brown has not been arrested and is not locked up. We're saying free him because his account.
Who said he was?
Somebody put in the comments that Judge Joe Brown was locked up.
No. All right, so let's go to the hands. Didn't Joe had his hand up? Nikki, Nancy, and yeah, but what was Mike, Joe, Nancy, then Nikki? Yeah.
Then we're going to close out.
Okay, I'll make it brief. Listen, Dana, I'm just going to agree to disagree with you politely, but I don't know if you know this or not, but in Dearborn, Michigan, 2 weeks ago, they do 5 prayers a day over those big ass loudspeakers. And this happened during one of those prayers, and it was translated. And what they were praying was death to America. They have completely taken over Dearborn, Michigan. Completely. Dearborn, Michigan, there is no Americans there whatsoever, nor are they even allowed in there. They're not allowed in there. They've taken it over. So, and it's not just the Muslims. You can take everybody that Biden let into this country that are some bad people. But I just cannot accept the Quran. I cannot accept Sharia law as being a religion in this United States under our Constitution. And that's really all I've got to say. And like I said kindly, I'm going to agree to disagree with you on that. And I'm just,
But let me just ask you this quick question: why do you think that our Constitution is going to be turned into Sharia law?
No, they're trying to take over this country. Listen, our birth rate is 1.2 in the United States on average. They said they were going to have 5 children to every 1.2 children we had, and that they would dominate the United States of America.
Muslims?
And this is
Muslims or immigrants?
Muslims. Yes. But
Immigrants are
these are
saying
the
that.
big populations that have gathered and taken over big cities and done these things. And Jason down there can tell you all about what's going on in Minnesota right now. The same damn thing's happening there. And It's happening all over the place. You know, whether you know it or not, it's happening all over the place, Dana.
Well,
And
Minnesota.
that's the only point I want to
Yeah, no,
make.
no,
Okay.
and like you said, and I respect that. Yeah, we could agree to disagree, and that's fine. But Minnesota, when people ask, well, damn, why is there so many Muslims, particularly Somalians? Well, our government allowed them to come here because we went to their country, stirred up a whole bunch of shit, messed up a lot of stuff, for whatever the case. So we allowed them to come here
Well, hold up,
for
hold up,
for
hold up, hold up. Hit the
refugees,
brakes.
for
We didn't go to
refugees.
Somalia, miss anything. That country was way fucked before we got there.
It was,
We
but
did
we
the best
fucked it
we
up
could.
even
And
more.
the people they brought back from Somalia were people we considered refugees that were just starving to death
But
and
how
been fucking.
many?
We
Right.
didn't
Wait,
go
hold
in.
on for a
We didn't
second,
go into
Joe. Wait, hold
Somalia and
on.
fuck it.
Hold on. Hold
Dana,
on. Hold
the
on.
place was
Hold
fucked
on
up
for a
long
second.
before we
Wait,
got
hold
there.
on. Stop, because your phone is going in and out. So I'm trying to say, hold on for a second, because I'm going to get to you. The point that I'm making here is not only we didn't, United States didn't say, oh, only 1,000 or 10,000. No, they allow Somalian refugees to have a pipeline to come here over years, decades. And so when they did come here and they settled in Minnesota, then they assimilated into our culture, meaning by by partaking in politics, getting into politics, getting into capitalism. And I would say another thing about people who are Muslim, there a lot of them, to your point, Peter, um, they're more quote unquote modern Muslims, to where there a lot of Muslims are capitalists. So, but just
I mean, I have friends here in Jersey that are Muslim, and I mean,
yeah,
I've dated girls that
right.
are
It's
Muslim,
that's
and
what
they're not
right,
any more
right,
devout than anyone else. Like they were, we were having sex and doing whatever we wanted to do. Like, so
right. That's what I'm
there's people
saying.
that say
Yeah.
they're one thing and it's just like a window dressing. It's performative, you know.
But even in their communities, they're capitalists. So again, the United States, because I said, why is there so many Somalians? How did it, in Minnesota, it wasn't so much Rohan, whatever that damn congresswoman name is. There were a whole bunch
Ilhan
here.
Omar.
Yeah, there were a whole bunch here before her. That's because the United States allowed them to come here. I don't give a damn what happened in Somalia, because they're still fucked up over there.
Do you think
But
Ilhan Omar assimilated? Because I don't.
No, yeah. See, Dan, I want to push back on what you
what?
said
No, no,
about
no.
them
My
assimilating. They
I'm not
really
I'm
haven't
not championing
assimilated.
her. My point is, United States, because I said, well, why is there so many Somalians? They allowed them to come here for whatever the fuck was going on in Somalia. Now we went over there to do whatever. I'm not in that military shit. But we allowed Somalians to have a pipeline into this country. And I believe it went full throttle under Obama. So if these people come here and then they become citizens, and then they start being active in politics by the law, then there you go. But
Well, what was crazy to me, Dana, last week was Jacob Frey, who's the mayor of well, I forget what it is, where it is in Minnesota, but he was literally giving the speech in Somali. I
yeah,
mean, that was
I've seen
crazy.
that. But how many? So honestly, it is what it is, because there are other groups that have given speeches in their native language. There are Europeans, let me be specific. Europeans, Italians, let me be even more specific. Jewish people do it too. But they're speaking to their people. Whether it's local elections, they're voted by other Somalians. But we open the door for them to have a pipeline. But go ahead, Joe. Let me test your audio, Joe, because you were choppy. Just unmute.
How about now? One,
Yeah, that's
two,
better.
three,
Go ahead.
1, 2, 3.
It's clear, yeah.
No, I was just saying we went to Somalia to feed them because they couldn't feed themselves, and they had a warlord problem down there. But we didn't start the Somalia issue. But you're right on the house. Once the refugees got here, they were people that had legal status in the United States. So now people could just legally migrate to the United States, saying I got a family member there, they'll support me for the year that's required for you to immigrate to the United States. So yeah, you're right, it was a pipeline over. But I originally raised my hand to say, you can't have Sharia in the United States unless it's voted for by a state legislature or U.S. Congress itself. There are no laws can be enforced that aren't voted for by an elected body. And that's constitutional in every state and the federal on federal level as well. So to say that we're going to have Sharia law in the United States is unrealistic.
Yeah, and what American going to actually abide by that shit? Now, listen, like I said, I respect all religions, but I believe in separation of state and first. I don't want religion inserted into state business. Your religion is your religion. That's your business. And I say that,
No,
to
I
Christians
wouldn't
too.
want Christianity adopted as any sort of legislative where I had to follow it.
Right,
You know, like you
exactly.
had to go to church or you go to jail. I don't want that either.
This is not a Christian nation. This is not what this nation was
I
founded on.
disagree. It was, yeah.
No, it was not.
It
It was not
absolutely
founded.
was.
It was not founded for Christians on Christian values. I'm sorry, it wasn't.
Our money doesn't say in Allah we trust. It says in God we trust.
So God is
This is a Christian
universal.
nation.
God is universal.
No.
Yeah. Now, if they say gods, I would be a little concerned, but God is universal. Allah means God. So whatever God you pray to, in God we trust. Which is contradiction, even put that on a dollar bill when we look at money and greed or whatever. But I'm just saying this is not a Christian country, even though majority of people are Christians, but this is not why this country was founded.
Actually,
It
it
actually
was.
was founded on that.
Explain.
They came over
Show
here
me
to
the proof.
practice their denomination because they weren't
Really?
allowed.
So have you read, is there anything in the Federalist Papers that said that when they were interpreting the Constitution, which is why Alexander Hamilton, John Jay, and James Madison wrote the Federalist Papers, they wrote it so that they can persuade the people of New York State to ratify the Constitution, which that ended up happening. But in any of those Federalist Papers, when they were interpreting the Constitution, did they say anything about this being a Christian nation? Absolutely not. Even though the majority is Christian, doesn't make this a Christian nation. Why? Because we have separation of church and state.
No, but that's, you're misinterpreting that. There's no separation of church and state in the Constitution. That was in a letter that Thomas Jefferson wrote to the Barbary pirates when they were ripping us off.
That is law.
And they, no, well, what
So what does
they
the First
had,
Amendment says when Congress says shall establish no religion?
okay, but what they were leaving in England was where the king was the head of the church. And they weren't allowed to practice their denomination, Lutheran or whatever it was.
But it was all Christian.
Well, but there's all kinds of denominations of
Exactly. But
Christianity,
again, and
and
we
they
have
weren't
all
allowed
types
to.
of denominations of Christians
And
here.
yes,
So
but Christian, they weren't allowed.
the
Okay, but
point is they
okay,
wanted to break free and be able to love who
practice
they
their
want,
denomination.
practice what they want. They wanted to break free from the king, from the monarchy, and create your own nation of freedom to worship wherever you want to worship.
Well, it's
So
actually
again,
their
this is,
denom.
listen, if Nancy, if you're a Christian, then you're a Christian. But this is not a Christian nation.
I'm trying to tell you some of the
This nation
history.
was not this nation
They were
was
very
not
clear.
conceived
Oh God.
because of for Christians. The Christian ideology, it's not. It's a separation of church and state. And I don't know why. Why is it that I don't know, where do people get that from? Why is this a thing now to where a
That's
whole bunch of
history.
people, even
Because
on mainstream media, want to talk Christian values? No, keep your
because
religion at home.
it talks about that our rights are endowed by our Creator, and you don't really hear other
I ain't never
religions
hear no shit like that.
talking about that.
I ain't never hear. Who said that?
In the Bill of Rights.
The Bill of Rights don't say nothing about, oh, your rights is by your Christian. No, no, you're more no. What you talking
No,
about?
hang on, Dana. That's not what it says. That's not what it says. It says your rights are bestowed by your creator, whoever they may be. And there's significance to that because it means the government needs them to use. The government can't take them away. They were given to you by something else. It doesn't mention God. It says you're endowed by your creator.
Right. So, which means whatever you as an individual interpret that to be. Where do you
Well,
get
that's
Christian?
not
Like,
because that is a Christian.
no,
That
it's
is
not
a
just a
that is
Chris, and that's what I'm saying. Like, and this, so going back just real quick, just going back to this whole thing where people want to stereotype Muslims. A lot of you Christians are batshit crazy and radical. I'm sorry, they do a lot of crazy shit. They have done a lot of terrorist shit in this country and abroad. So I'm just like, why do you think because it says
like
that it's
what?
this
I don't,
solely
Dana.
means that it's Christian?
Dana, back up there. Like, what kind of radical stuff? You mean
The
like opposing
terrorists, the
abortion and
terrorists, the
stuff?
terrorists.
What Christian terrorists are you talking about?
Okay, so who was the Christian terrorist that blew up the Oklahoma Federal Building? I forgot
Timothy
his,
McVeigh.
what was his name again?
Timothy McVeigh.
Let's say we give
Timothy
that to you.
McVeigh.
I think still on about 10-1, maybe 20-1. The Islam faith has generated more traditional terrorists throughout the world than
In this
Christianity
nation,
has.
I'm talking about America. I'm talking about America.
Yeah,
I actually
yeah.
think
I
that
would
was
still
an
say
inside job.
in this nation as well.
No,
Yeah.
no. Or 9/11. 9/11 and the first World Trade bombing in 1994, too. Now, if we want to say, okay, how many Christian terrorists domestic?
Lockerbie blew up
What
American passenger
the
liner.
Weather Underground?
It was a
That was Gaddafi too, Joe. Yeah, I remember that. I had a friend whose dad died on that plane.
yeah. That was so. I mean, that's. I'm trying to think. I'll give you a few Christians. The guy that went
No,
into
no.
church
What I'm saying here is, you don't have to give me a few because there's more than a few. If we
David
want to
Koresh.
compare, if we want to contrast and compare, there have been more Christian terrorists in this nation than there has been Muslims.
I don't know how you know what their faiths are. You just assume because they're American they have.
No,
I mean,
because they
because
actually said it. And when people leave their manifestos or when people burn crosses on lawns, they do it in the name of God. They said it. So let's not act oblivious to the fact that
I'll
terrorists
give you
come
that
in
context.
all religions, all colors, all
I'll
backgrounds.
I give you that. You know what? I give it to you now. I see your perspective. Yeah.
I
You
don't
you
know.
you,
I
you
just
burn it
remember.
across. You burn it across. I'll say that's a terrorist activity. I'm down with you.
I just remember growing up, and I would see like Iran, military parades on TV, and the theme of the party was always "Death to America," and then seeing journalists' heads be decapitated, and I mean, there a lot of them are savage people, not all of them, but there's a lot of radical, and it's disturbing. I mean, it is disturbing.
So I looked it up. Christian terrorists in the United States. This was a few organizations: Army of God, Christian Identity Movement, Aryan Nations. Yeah, Weather Underground. So, and the only reason why we were talking about religion.
Weather Underground wasn't a
Weather
Christian.
Underground was
Wasn't a
No, but
Christian.
communists.
I'm pretty sure those individuals, their religion was they were Christian. Their religion.
You think
That was William
communists are
Ayers. That was
Christians?
Obama's friend.
They were
Obama's
what? You
friend.
said they were Obama friends.
Yeah, William Ayers was part of the Weather
Oh,
Underground. He actually set up the bombings
yeah,
that they did, and he was friends with Obama.
right.
So he was a Muslim then, right?
No, Obama is not
William Ayers
Muslim.
is a Muslim.
Where do you get that from?
I
And
think
even
there's
if he
Obama's
crazy
a
wasn't
Muslim.
Muslim, so
ideology.
you got to be a Muslim to be Obama friend. Like Peter just said, he
Well,
has Muslim friends.
some of his didn't he say some of his greatest mentors
No,
were
but
they were
Obama isn't a Muslim.
well, his
No,
daddy was.
so Rusty, she brought up
The deadbeat
Weather
father that
Underground,
didn't raise him. Okay.
and then
Well, was the
I
guy
said,
with Weather Underground, was he Muslim or not?
no, William Ayers is not Muslim.
They were white
He's
I
Christian
probably
think he was
friends.
Christian.
agnostic or atheist or something. Yeah, they were like crazy
They were
liberals.
Christian. They were brought up in a Christian at her household.
Oh, now you were just exposed to it. That makes you what it
Well,
is.
a
Then.
lot of people don't practice Christianity, but that's what they was raised in, and they told, oh, well, this
But
is a
I,
Christian
I
nation. So then, but they're not practicing.
here's what I'm saying. I'm saying that if your terrorist act was driven by your religious ideology, that would make you an extremist. Whether it be the Muslim side, or Christian side, or I pray to a tree side. If you're out there blowing people up at the diner for your ideology, then you probably you're off the mark, in my opinion.
Yep. And Mandani's dad legitimized suicide bombers. He said that a suicide bomber is a legitimate soldier, and that it's part of political violence to engage in suicide
Where's his
bombings.
father? We haven't seen his father not once. Where's his father?
His father's a professor at Columbia University.
Really?
He's an avowed Marxist.
Oh my God.
Was he still married to his mother?
Yeah, he's married to the mother.
Oh.
The mother is a producer, a Hollywood producer.
So I guess they kept him tucked away because of his views. But
no, they knew listen, if you knew about him, you knew about what was going on with Mandani, because he was active in the protests. Remember when they were telling Jews they couldn't go to classes at Columbia and at Harvard? He was one of the individuals that was stoking the flames of that. His dad.
Mm-hmm. And even though his son is backed by Jews, well, Zionists.
You ever heard of Takia?
Who's that?
So this is Takia is a it's, I guess, like a precept that if you are you could lie and it doesn't offend God if you're advancing the cause of Islam. And so the individuals who are from these other countries will engage in taqiyya, basically adopting the lifestyle and the ideology of their country they're trying to infiltrate and conquer, so that they can then better put themselves in a position to conquer the individuals by pretending like they're friends.
That's
Similar
what
to
the
what
9/11 hijackers did too.
Yeah, like Muhammad Atta. Yeah, Muhammad
sounds
Atta
like
did the same
CIA, FBI. Yeah, same tactics. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
My point is my point with all this. There are bad people everywhere. They look innocent. All different religions, different cultures, different races, ethnicities, nationalities. Yeah. So, was it Nancy? Nancy then Nikki, yeah.
Okay, well, we just have to look at the rest of the West to see what is happening, and like you wouldn't recognize the UK anymore. People are getting, I mean, their little kids are getting raped by these foreigners that have been brought in intentionally. They're getting thrown in jail if they speak out about it. This stuff is happening all across the West, and it's by design. In fact, if you listen to President Trump, his speech at the UN, which was one of the best speeches I've ever heard there, and he nailed them. He blamed them for the UN's plan for mass migration, in the West, and they funded it, and we paid for most of the UN. So it's nice to hear we're funding our own demise. He blamed them for it, which is why I don't know. I wish he'd get us the hell out of the UN. We have the Agenda 2030 from them that's being implemented all across our country as we speak. Not good things. So yes, why our government brought in these people or allowed them to come in, they're being used as tools. I don't blame the people as much as I do. We have a lot of traitors in our government. And mostly they were in Biden's, I'm going to say, but we still got them in this current one. We do. They're selling us out. So that's my concern, because we do see what's happening in the UK and every other Western country. They are being taken down. Every Western country is being taken down. That's reality. And these people may not be at fault personally, but they're being used as tools being taken down. Now, if they get into power, which they currently already are, look at the squad, they can actually change our laws. I mean, they can change everything about our country. And that's a concern, because we've only gotten out, like, how many have we actually really gotten out? Most of the people that have been gotten out are the ones who left on their own, and that's good. We've only gotten out, what, about 450,000? And that's it so far. And I know they're being challenged every step of the way. But I'm real concerned, because what came in under Biden, at least 20 million. So I'm really concerned. And yes, why they didn't say we're a Christian nation. If you actually look, I'm going to send you something in DM for you to listen to, Dana. But they were, they were actually some of the original. I'll just send you the video. Um, I'm just real concerned because I don't think our founding fathers thought we would invite the Barbary pirates into our country, and we have. And I think if you look at what's happening in Dearborn and around, and anything's in Texas, we're losing our country. And I did like 10 years ago. I used to watch Washington Journal, C-SPANs all the time. My teeth about fell out. I don't have my real teeth, of course. When somebody from CAIR, which is a Muslim deal, right? He sat up there and actually said when he was being interviewed, no, we're going to outpopulate you and we're going to overthrow your country. And just sat there stone-faced and said it. And I couldn't believe, this was like 10 years ago. And I couldn't believe it. And that's what they're doing in other Western countries. They are doing it. And I'm not saying every individual Muslim is bad. I'm not saying that at all. There's a lot of very peaceful ones. But if we want to have a country like we have, I think we should be a lot more careful who we bring in. And it used to be that we only let people immigrate here that from a common culture. And we brought them in such they didn't change the entire face or makeup of the country, only brought them in percentage-wise like that. We didn't mass bring them in like we are now. And because, who's assimilating whom, really, right? Who's assimilating whom? And they had to love America and love Americans, love our Constitution, and want to give up where they came from and become American. And I think the fact that we are letting these people with dual citizenships be in our government, it's gotten way past the crazy point. I think that has to change. It's like where's your allegiance? I don't care where it is, whether it's Israel or it's Somalia or wherever. I think your allegiance, you can find in the country, but you can't be in our government if you're a dual citizen. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Yeah, Nancy, you make a good point. I put in the nest a video of CARE activist Linda Sarsour talking literally about a darkness is coming, and that more people are converting to Islam because of what they see happening in Gaza. And she watched the video. She seems like a peach, somebody you definitely want to have over for dinner with the type of rhetoric that she's spouting. So
she's horrible.
I'm with you on that one. Who's next? Nikki?
Corey. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Was it Nikki? It was Nikki. And then Corey.
Yeah, it was Nikki.
Go ahead, Nikki.
Hey, so a few things. You mentioned earlier about the money from Soros, and I think, in my opinion, at least, a lot of this is resolved by changing the you got to get rid of the dirty money in politics that supports all this. And I'll give you an example. So let's say, for example, you look at Portland, okay? They play the long game. So what happens is they get somebody in for attorney general. The attorney general then decides that they're going to set a certain policy. That policy would be to, let's say, not prosecute people that are protesting or committing violence on the street or whatever that may be. So then in turn, what happens is the police then won't arrest the people because there's no point to arrest the people if they're going to not be able to go to jail. So you have an organization that sets up in Portland. You have an attorney general that basically neuters the police ability to prosecute anybody that's criminal. And then same dirty money, it's from a Justice and Safety, was one of the ones that Soros was using to donate to several attorney generals. And this is just a little example. This is so broad. So what they do is they go into these blue cities, they put the attorney general in, they use those cities to basically let the criminals out. So they create the policy. The criminals get out. They put the money in for the protests to create violence in these specific blue areas, and it's a pattern that you can see over and over. So stopping the money would help stop the this sort of destabilization that isn't just going on in the United States, it's a global thing, and it's the same money that's behind it. It's a huge web, it runs deep, and it's wild how it works. But like I said, they play the long game, and it really revved up under Obama. And I keep reminding people, there's a reason Trump was voted in, and it was because Obama was so bad. People don't remember how bad things were under Obama. Like BLM was formed under Obama. The Weather Underground was mentioned when Clinton was leaving office at the direction of Nadler. He was letting these people out that bombed the Capitol building. One of them was Susan Rosenberg, and she got involved with working with these organizations on their boards. So she was on the board of BLM. They made that disappear real quick, and she was on Thousand Currents and Tide and all the money that was flowing through there. Like this is a huge web of insanity. So in my opinion, I think that they're probably looking at this. Soros is currently under investigation in India for similar issues. That sort of kind of look like the USAID thing here. It's over in India. You can you look up Soros India investigation. You can find some information on it, which I find kind of interesting. Another thing too, like in the United States here, we have a supremacy clause, which basically says that like if any state or local law tries to contradict the Constitution, it's automatically void. So it has no force, no effect, nothing. So let's say, for example, you have like a city council in Michigan or Minnesota that has a Muslim majority that passes an ordinance that says Sharia is now the official family law here. So immediately what happened, like as soon as it's signed, it's legally dead. Like the lawyer can go in, or a citizen can walk into court and say, like, this violates the Establishment Clause, the Supremacy Clause would void it. So the judge throws it out, like it's done. It's worked also with like the 10 Commandments. So like let's say a city tries to set up the 10 Commandments as an official law, that has been challenged in the same way and struck down. So when it comes to things like, we're talking about the separation of state and religion, I think that's sort of the reason. So if you say, if it's good for one, it's good for everybody. People have to remember that. So if you say you're going to allow a religion in school, you have to open the door for all religion in school. Like you can't separate it out. And I know that can be a hot topic for some people because they feel passionately about that. But when it comes down to the basic law, people are protected, but we do have our Constitution. The thing that I am concerned about is I do see that sometimes like our Constitution is being used against us in certain situations. So I think we have to keep an eye out for that because, I agree that you're going to have bad people no matter what. I think the good people outweigh the bad people. And when you get the propaganda under control, that's being spit out more to create this emotion in people, like emotional people are easier to control. So the more people that realize that this is sort of happening, the easier it is for people to kind of navigate their differences. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, Nikki. And
Hmm.
you made a great point about what are essentially is the Red Guard 2.0, right? If you look at Mao's China and the Cultural Revolution, they weaponized the youth to use as basically similar to Hitler's brown shirts, right? So they were allowed to break the law. They were allowed to go in your house and destroy what were known as the four olds, like things that showed about the old way of China before the new revolution started. And they weren't prosecuted. And that's exactly what you're seeing in our cities right now with these Soros-backed prosecutors. They prosecute certain individuals based upon characteristics. They engage in identity politics, and then they allow other individuals to go and commit violence against people and not get prosecuted at all. And that is how you push further and further back on our constitutional freedoms, because you have prosecutors who have enormous amounts of power deciding who they're going to prosecute and who they're not going to prosecute. And that prosecutorial discretion can be abused. And we have seen it be abused by Chesa Bowden, who used to be the DA in San Francisco, who was actually recalled because he was so bad. He actually comes from his parents were both incarcerated for robbing banks with other Marxist organizations. I believe it actually was Weather Underground they were a part of as well as the current prosecutor or DA in New York City, Alvin Bragg. And then there's a few others that were put in backed by Soros. And so this is, Nikki, you're spot on. There's a great source on here, a woman who came from China. Her name is Shi Van Fleet. She wrote a book called Mao's America. And she hosts spaces on here pretty infrequently, but we're trying to actually connect. I connected with her, Dana. Actually, she wants to come on our show and talk about her experience in communist China and how she came over here. So maybe we could do a show with her next week or later in the week.
Okay, that'd be good. I also want to just piggyback off of what Nikki was saying, because I agree with you, but I do want to highlight this to where it's a. First of all, I don't trust a politician. They're all liars, and I never did trust them. So yes, I voted for Trump, but I don't vote because I'm a Christian and he's a Christian. It's none of that. It's just for who can preserve this nation, and keep it from going under the best. Democrats, what they did under Biden and letting all these people in, that they have a plan, they have an agenda. But the dark money, and I forgot that woman who wrote that book, Dark Money, it's about over 5 years ago. It's a really good book. It's this been going on for so long. The fix is in, and it will have to take a civil war from us, the regular folk. Other than that, the fix is in. Whatever is going to happen it's been in motion. Nothing is going to stop it. And so, to a couple other people points when they were talking about the Muslim communities and Sharia law, what I think, and this is my opinion, my perspective, or whatever. I think when you see these communities, Muslim communities, Jewish communities, and I know it was a small white group, they wanted to make their own community and kind of got shut down. But when you see a certain group of people that share, whether it's religion or the same ideology, creating communities where they live at, what they're doing is protecting themselves of when all this unravels, right? I don't want to say the downfall of America, because it's not going to become a downfall or somewhat be conquered, but this whole America eventually in the next 30 years, maybe 50 years, is going to change. But if you're able to create a community of an ecosystem to where you're generating money where you live at, you have your doctors, you have your lawyers, you have your engineers, you have your supermarkets. I think that is what is happening when you do see these Muslim communities pop up. They're insulating themselves to protect themselves. And the only way to kind of buffer yourself from what is really already set in motion with these evil elitist oligarch people that are really controlling the politicians is to create your own community. Unless you are one of those people that know how to live off the grid. But other than that, myself included, regular Americans who just want to, live the American, or whatever the American dream may be, or just be a free American, it's more, you can't do it. You can't be an individual anymore. You have to insulate yourself within a tight community. And that's what I think is happening when we do see Muslims community coming together. Jewish communities, they always done that. No matter where they go in this world, they always create their own ecosystem of a community. Black people used to do it, no longer. There have been Black people talking about doing it or whatever, but that's a whole nother conversation. But I think that's what it is. And I say all that to say to everything Nikki said to your point. So it's a lot of shit that's been going on with very powerful, evil ass people. Candace Owens always exposes them. It's a lot of crazy shit. And and so I just think, so I'm saying all this to say, don't get distracted and say, oh, it's a Muslim problem, it's an Islam problem. No, the person that is evil looks very innocent and smiles in your face. So it's something that's just bigger than us, and it's not going to stop because it's been in motion for a very long time. And unless we, the American people, are going to just upend this country and do a French Revolution. And I'm sorry, Americans are too fucking pampered to do that.
You don't want a
Because
French Revolution anyway. That didn't do anything.
it's an example, Nancy. I don't mean literally a French Revolution. I'm talking about an uprising. But I'm saying America, you're not going to see Americans as a whole do that, because look at who they voted in New York thinking, oh, he's going to save us from this high ass rent. And it's like, no, he literally just took a whole bunch of hustles. It's 1,000,001 hustles in New York. His plan is to take all that shit away and have you be reliant solely on the government. But
my point was that I think we will have a revolution at some point, but a French Revolution was just cutting off everybody's heads, and they didn't have a plan in place for what kind of government they were going to have.
well, they got rid of the monarchy. They got rid of a monarchy in France
Oh, to
after
keep
that.
the rich, right? That was the whole French Revolution. Was
Yeah,
like,
they got rid of that damn monarchy. So then that happened in Russia too. But anyway, who else was
Can I
supposed
say
to
real
go?
quick before we
Corey.
move?
Go ahead,
I
Nikki.
forgot to mention to the school thing. So the SCL learning stuff like this, when the Board of Education, like people were talking about the whole Board of Education thing when that was going down, like, oh my God, it can't happen. Well, a lot of when you look at certain programs, the federal government was actually bribing the state government to do certain things. So they were saying, like, unless you do this program, you're not gonna get the money. So that's going to play a big role in this too when it comes to how the kids are educated. So if you're just focused on testing and not learning, like how we used to when we were growing up, there was more variety, there was more I don't know, it was just different. Then kids these days are just basically looking at a computer all day, just trying to, their goal is to just take tests and pass tests and get scores for tests. And in my opinion, I think that needs to change. You see a lot of people going
Jesus,
back to
Mary and Joseph. Well, I
Corey,
thought,
just
wait, they
give
did
give
call
it a
on me.
break.
Corey, how you want to just interrupt her? Let her
I
finish.
I
know.
mean,
She's
Dana,
a
y'all
mess.
did call on me. She said, well, just this point that I had, and now she's going on and on and on.
How long have you
Well,
been
I
waiting up
didn't
here as
call
a
on
speaker?
you. What are
Yeah,
you
how
talking
long have you
about?
been waiting up here as a speaker?
Oh, quite a while.
I haven't seen you since I was on here 2 hours
Oh,
ago.
okay.
So I
Well,
mean,
thank you.
if
Well,
I've
thank
been
you.
quiet the whole time, I appreciate it.
Maybe if you can finish up, we can get to it.
Don't be such a rude fucking asshole. I mean, like,
Yes,
really.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I won't be. But if
Okay, thank
but
you.
you
So as
you're
I was
spending more
saying,
time
when it comes
talking
to
to
the schools
me
and
and then get to
education,
your point.
obviously, like what
But
happens when
thank you.
people get rude and they talk over people because they can't handle it. But yeah, I just
Yes,
wanted
yes,
to
yes.
state
That's how that works, ma'am.
And
Yes.
Corey, let her finish.
he's gonna get blocked by me right now because I don't want him in my spaces ever. I won't tolerate
Woohoo!
that kind of abuse towards to speakers on the panel. Anyway, as I was saying, in my opinion, I think it's important for education. I think we had to just saw a good example of why. So we'll leave it at that, and I'll let you continue on.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with you, Nikki, because I was about to call you Nancy. Because I agree with you. When we look at the education system, the AI, all that, oh my God, testing, it's a hot mess. So yeah, I definitely agree with you. Okay,
Yeah,
so
people
what's
that don't think the education system is important, it's problematic, and we saw an
oh
example
yeah.
of that. I mean, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Who was it? Was it Corey or was it
Corey.
Art, Donald, then Corey? Was it Corey?
Yeah.
Oh,
Corey, then Art, then Donald, then Markham, and I ain't afraid, and then and then that's it.
Ain't afraid of no goats.
Okay. Go ahead, Corey.
What's going on, Dana? How you doing, Loki? I see Joe was in here. I think he
Huh.
just left. I see Jack down there. What's up, Art? Marcus, Donald,
Haven't seen in a
Nancy.
while. What's going on?
I know, right? It's been crazy. Um, I've been listening to the conversation. I know that the title says "Free Judge Joe Brown." Is he in Twitter's jail or something?
Yep.
Yeah, his
For
account
the
was
last few
suspended.
weeks.
For what? What happened with that? But you know what? Doesn't matter.
Well, we talked about that at the beginning of this space,
Yeah,
but
that's what
his
I'm saying. It don't
account
matter.
is suspended.
Yeah, well, it does matter, but I'll have to get the lowdown from that. I'll talk to Loki later on and whatnot. But yes, just like the last week, I do think education is very important. But one thing I don't see at the school board meetings is the parents. There are more parents that are coming now because the LGBTQ um, agenda is being pushed. But we could say in the past, or there are still parents that are not concerned unless there's a big issue as to, oh my God, you're teaching my kids about gay history. Well, Illinois passed a whole law about gay history, and I was just sitting there like, where were the parents at when this happened? There was the whole law passed. So what's being taught in schools is very important and very important to what's going on all throughout the nation. I think I heard some rumblings or some talks about far as Islam. Uh, I think there were some people. I think there may still be some people that say it needs to be outlawed, or am I right or am I just wrong? What's that talked about?
What was the point you made, Corey? People were saying what?
No, what about Islam? What are people talking about? Hey, watch out for it, or should it be outlawed or something like that, or however it goes? Not just Islam, but Sharia law and
We're
some
talking
of
about
the.
Sharia law getting instituted, right? And the risk of that happening. And then, that's I think where Nikki was going into how these things can start to come to pass. It's by policies not being enforced and selective prosecution of certain groups of individuals, which then could
Oh,
allow like red guards, or Hitler's brown shirts, right, which
mhm.
operate with impunity outside of the law.
Yeah, and yeah, I can see that because I call it what is it? Um, warfare by lawfare. They'll drag you through the court system, and I just seen something like that. Not to the magnitude of it, but the brother Bobby Booth that I was talking about past couple of days, he had to plead out, and it was definitely something that was very political. As to they're going to prosecute him, but they pick other people to not prosecute, or when they got a political hit job. Yeah, that shit does happen, and I think one of the things that we should talk about is how we're going to fight back, right? And I think that comes from the support of other people, getting good lawyers. These people um, who are out here protesting, these professional protesters, they have a great lawyer system. That's how they keep getting off. Of course, George Soros can help with that, and it helps with putting the right DA in place. Well, I think conservatives need to play the same game. I really do. I think y'all need to not just buy DAs or anything like that, but I think that we are there needs to be a good lawyer system for people who fight back against this system that the Democrats have already made, or that they're using against. And I just call it warfare by law, warfare by lawfare. So that's my thoughts.
All right. Who was next? Art. Art, are you still there?
Art, you're up.
Yeah, I got caught up. Listen, what happened to my fellow Tennessean, Judge Joe Brown? We You definitely have to free him. I don't know how. I don't even know how or why he got. Does anybody even know why he got removed?
Something about impersonating accounts, but because there were a lot of different Judge Joe Brown accounts. But that's what we said earlier in the space.
Oh, I missed that part. Oh shit! But goddamn. So
Honey, we started
Yeah,
at 9 p.m. Eastern. It was a very fruitful
yeah,
everybody
conversation
loves
we
to
was
that's why.
come
having
late.
throughout this space. Don't mess up the
I mean, but
groove
I
towards
was
the
addressing the
end.
title. Some people say it's rude to not address the title, so I wanted to address the title.
Well, yeah, that's
Yeah.
why.
So
That's
and
it.
yeah, and as far as I don't know. I feel like people are down on America in a lot of aspects. I think America's changing, but I mean, I seen a highlight of what it can be with the government being shut down. It was actually amazing time. I really want to go back to that time. I think if we could learn from that, we could move forward. I do think that if anybody should be pushing for something, it's that $500 billion that went out of our pocket during that period of time. I think that should be a refund check to everybody. He said he's going to give 2,000 for something or another.
Tariffs.
Tariffs, right?
Yeah.
Yes, yes. So I think in addition to that, they should pay us for the time that the government was shut down, or pay the taxpayers in general for the time that the tax, or in form of a refund if possible, um, for the time they were shut down. Like, why are we paying for that? Like that,
I agree.
I don't know how people aren't mad about that, and like how there's like people aren't. 500 billion is something actually to be in the streets for. Particularly, I would personally be. Uh, because I feel like that's a, you know how what was it? Fucking COVID-19 is like. I feel like that was kind of seeing what people will take and not take. I think this is another one of those situations. It's like if we don't ask for that money back, they're gonna just do this again and again and again. At the very least, we should get some kind of legislation that when they're shut down, we're not paying taxes, so they feel the pain. Like there's got to be something that forces them into making more calculated decisions, or like at least be at the table longer. You know what I mean? And I feel like if the government is completely shut down, there's no taxes going out of people's paychecks. I feel like the people aren't going to care if it's shut down, and they're going to do their job like more. You know what I mean? Like, so just food for thought. I think that's our bare minimum ask, if not a refund check. But I'll land it there.
All right, Donald.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Okay. Donna, how are you?
I'm sorry.
Is it Donna or is it Dana?
Long A. I'm not Hispanic.
Okay. That's good. Well, I appreciate you having me on here. We have Art over here who wants to have a lot of money. Apparently, he wants me to pay him. I don't know. But we'll see about it, okay? Art, I don't know if we'll do it for you. I think we might have to tariff you individually.
Are we getting a
I'm only
$2,000
kidding.
stimulus check?
That is happening. That is definitely happening. So you're going to receive that hopefully soon. But I just wanted to come in here because you got some nice people in here that maybe you were following me on my other account, but my other account got canned. It got locked up. It got indicted. No, I'm only kidding. No, they said, sir, you're too good. You're too good. But we're back and we're back stronger than ever. And I'm loving it. I'm loving talking to all these great patriots of our country. Maybe some not so patriotic, maybe some that want the EBT gold card. But that's okay.
Well, are you going to
That's
give?
okay,
Are you
right?
going to give reparations to Black Americans? Foundation of
Oh,
Black
what
Americans.
do you mean by that?
You know how you giving out the $2,000 stimulus checks?
Right?
Can foundational Black Americans get their additional $2,000 check? Additional
You want to explain the reasoning on that?
reparations for slavery, Jim Crow.
Right. Well, nobody had slaves. Not recently. I don't know why we would do that.
Well, what about Jim Crow? That was less than 100 years ago. Less than 50
Well,
years ago.
it doesn't matter. I mean, I think we've moved on from that, right?
Well, why?
I
So
mean,
why did? So why?
no,
So
hold
why are
on,
we giving
hold on. They're more,
reparations? Huh?
they're more successful African Americans. I don't know if you've seen it, but take a look at Black-owned businesses. They're doing so well. They're doing so well, actually, under me, and it's so great because they thank me all the time about it because we've gotten them a lot. We've gotten them no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security. So I think that's really
Just get
something
to no
that,
tax. I mean, that's the vision.
well, Art, I know it's the vision, but you know what? We need to win the midterms. If you want no taxes, then we need to win the midterms. You understand? We have to end the filibuster. We have to. and then we'll push forward. Okay. But no, we've got a lot of things to do. We have to win the midterms. We have to win a lot of things, right? And we got to win our country, and we got to really do it at an exponential rate. Because you take a look at the last election, New York went communist. I mean, I used to say this all the time: we will never be a socialist country, and I was right. We just jumped right to communism. Isn't that right? No, you can't do that.
Mr.
We can't let
President,
that happen to
when
our
are you
country.
gonna release the Epstein list?
That's a stupid question. You wanna work for CNN, Loki? You wanna work for CNN? Go ahead and work for CNN. I'm not sure that you'll be working there for very long because AI might take your job, right? It's all AI. Everybody comes out with that stupid question. I'm so sick of that damn question. We need to be focused on what we can do to make our country great again. And these people don't want to do that. They want to make our country unsafe. They want to make our country full of people from mental institutions, prisons, and jails, and mental institutions all over the world.
Don't
People
talk
have been
about our
coming
Congress
in.
like that.
It's
Mr.
true.
President, I thought
People have
you've
been
been.
coming in
You seem like
from
you're more
prisons and jails and
concentrated on.
destroying our country.
Seems like you're more concerned with making Israel great later. Lately, are you going to get back to this
No, no,
country soon?
no. I think you got it all wrong. I don't know what you're looking at, but we actually we've gotten a lot of things done. Take a look at the big beautiful bill. We got a lot done in that. We packed it all in there. They said, "Sir, don't do that, otherwise you might not see it pass." But we got it passed. And no, we've done so much for our country. We've got drill, baby, drill.
Mr. President, what
We've
about the
got
bounty hunter
tariffs that
support
are
program? Are you going to federalize the
doing a
bounty hunters?
fantastic job for our country.
You're gonna,
Excuse me.
are
Hold
you
on.
going to deputize
Hold
the
on. We'll
bounty
get to that.
hunters?
Maybe you should not interrupt me when I'm in the middle of a damn question, Loki. Maybe you should work for ABC. I think that would be more appropriate, right? So I can sue your ass off. No, I'm only kidding, but am I? I don't know. Listen, we've done so much for this country. We have got a lot of promises made and promises kept, as you know. You say Israel. I think Israel's okay. I think they're doing their own thing. We ended 8 wars. I don't know if you know that. Maybe you're not paying attention because it's going to be all about Israel. Maybe you're just doing a little too much research on Israel. But no,
Don't they
we
owe us
love
money,
Israel.
sir?
No, we love our country, though, a lot better. We love our country a lot better. So,
Mr. President,
take a look at what we've done. We saved the world from World War III. We ended 8 wars. We're going to end the 9th one, too. We're working on it. We've got Russia, Ukraine. It's a bad one. It's a tough one. You got two people that don't know what the fuck they're doing, and they have to get it together. They have to get it together. We're going to get them together. And I think it's going to be very easy, actually, in the next couple of months because Christmas is around the corner. Maybe that's a nice little Christmas present that we can make happen.
Yeah, but it would be
I don't
Christmas
know.
present if you quit
I'm not
giving them
making
our
any
money.
promises. I don't need a nice little
Mr.
headline saying,
President,
"Sir,
can you please call Elon and tell him to give Judge Joe Brown his account back?
who's Judge Joe
Oh
Brown?"
no.
Very off the stage,
Oh
Mr.
dear
President.
God,
That's
don't
crazy.
ever let him hear that.
You want us to give Judge Joe Brown? Is he a Democrat judge or is he a Republican
Oh, he's a
judge?
Republican judge. He's on our side. He's very Trump friendly.
That's good.
You should
That's
you
good.
should probably find a spot for him to be a judge somewhere for you.
And
Well,
if we
if there's
could
any
get our
opening on
money
the
back
Supreme
from
Court,
Israel,
maybe
that'd be
we'll.
great.
All right. What was that, Art? You want more money? Is that what I'm hearing?
We don't want no more taxes.
All right,
But listen,
Mr.
thank you, Mr.
President.
President, for
Wonderful for you
joining
stopping by. We love
the
you. Keep
chat.
up the good work.
I know. I know. Thank you. I mean, it's really incredible. We get a lot of people in here. That means that you're doing something great. I could only ask that maybe we continue this little relationship that we have, right? And you could all follow me. That would be wonderful.
I just
because I
followed
want to
you.
talk to you
I'm
soon.
following you, Mr.
I
Honestly,
want to
bro,
talk to you about
this is one of
everything
the
that you
best
want to talk
impressions I've
about,
heard of
except for
President Casey.
reparations and except for giving you more money because we're already doing that.
So no
We're already giving you more
reparations.
money.
Wait, hold on. wait. I can
Go ahead and
accept
give it.
that, but we can no longer give Israel any more money. As a matter of
That
fact,
is
they
true
owe us
too.
money.
Yeah. So
Like
right.
you, we gotta yank
Well,
all
you
this
know what?
So,
Here's
foreign
Mr.
what we'll
money
do.
away.
Wait, Mr.
Like if
President,
we're gonna do that,
if foundational Black Americans can't get no reparations, Israel should not get any more money. I don't care how much they blackmail
Well,
you and the other
we won't
politicians.
give
no
Israel
country
any more
should.
money.
If we're being honest,
Listen,
no country unless they're American.
what? Excuse me. Hold on, Art. I know you're very antsy for a little cash. I know you want EBT gold card and something else. I don't know.
Better than
But let me
Israel
tell
getting
you.
it, sir. It's better than
Excuse
Israel
me.
getting it.
Excuse me. I understand. But you know what you could do? You could go buy a candle from my shop. I've got a shop on my profile. You can buy a candle, and we'll see where that money goes. Right? Well, I think that money will go towards
Feel
the
like it
ball.
goes straight to
Right?
Israel, sir.
It
We
won't go to
need that to
Israel.
come
I
back to
promise
America.
you, it won't go to Israel. I can make that promise tonight that if you go ahead and buy one of those big, beautiful, nice, very nice candle, it's going to bring you lots of value, lots of wealth, hopefully. And if you're like all about money, you might want to buy a candle, especially for Christmas, because it's going to smell nice. You get
And
4
next you're gonna be
different
trying to
scents that
tell
you
me,
can
do you
smell.
sell dreidels, sir? Do you sell dreidels?
We sell T-shirts, hoodies, and puzzles, and now a candle. So we've got a candle, and it's a very smelly candle. That's a good candle. It's smelly in the right way, not in the bad way. You know, other people are smelly. You want to drown that out. So you get a candle, and you drown it out with a better looking smell.
All right.
All right.
Well, thank you, Mr.
All right,
President.
thanks, Mr. President.
Thank you, everybody. God bless, and have a great
I
rest of
didn't
your
even
night.
get to
Okay.
ask
All
a
right.
question.
Well,
God bless
Selling Jewish
everybody. Bye bye.
candles
bye-bye.
and a
I
So
didn't
dreidels,
who
get
was
to
man. This
ask
is
wait?
my
Who was
crazy.
next?
question.
Who was next, Peter? I think it's I ain't afraid. I ain't afraid. Markham, Mr. Sand, Jeff. What was Jeffrey before Mr. Sand? I don't know. But go ahead. I ain't afraid. And then it's Santism something. Sand. Go ahead.
Thank you, Dana.
So
Hi,
peace
Dana,
and
Loki. I just
I
followed
don't
you
know
guys
why they
on.
get Santa
Uh,
Satan all the
is it
time. It's
me?
stupid.
Is it me or her?
Stay on your mic. It's not on you. It's on Goats. Go ahead, Goats.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. First time I think I've ran into either of you guys, so I gave you a follow. Good space here. We're talking about education and several of the other just sectors of our society. The money. It's all been a giant laundering scheme since 1971, right? I mean, when we got off the gold standard, you look at education, you look at healthcare, you look at social services, you look at anything the government has spent money on since 1971, the money has skyrocketed, absolutely skyrocketed, because all we do is print worthless paper, right? And the value for it, the actual worth of all of that has just steady flatline. None of it has gotten better. We continue to just spend money and spend money, and we've seen from USAID, right, that all this money is getting funded to other things. They're getting so we really need to get away from the money laundering system that this country has turned into. And like I said, it's in every sector, education, all of it. America first is, what that means to me is responsibility. We believe in this country that every human being born on this planet has the same inalienable rights, right? Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. But unfortunately, in most of the world, you don't have access to that. In China, you don't have access to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But we have been so blessed to be born on this specific spot on this earth that we have access to that. So to me, that gives me a sense of responsibility, like freedom of speech. We say it's a right, but I think it's because when you say it's a right, it's like, okay, I can do it or not. I don't believe that. If I have something to say, I think it's a duty, it's a responsibility to say it. If you have a grievance to the government, I can't just come home from work and kick my feet up and watch Netflix and say, I don't feel like talking about tyranny today. I'm a little tired. No, it's your responsibility, it's your duty. Second Amendment, same thing. It's not, I can, carry a gun or not. No, it's a duty to protect yourself. So The police don't have to do it. If we protect ourselves, our family, our community, then we don't need thousands and millions of police over us. If we take this personal responsibility on ourselves, we don't need this giant government over top of us, because that's what it's turned into. It's just turned into this giant bureaucracy over top of us because nobody wants to take care of themselves. Nobody wants to take the responsibility that it takes to be free. Freedom isn't the right to do whatever you want. Freedom is the responsibility to do what is right. And that's just how I see it. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Who was next? Was it Jeffrey or Markham or Mr. Sand? I think it
I think it
was
was
Jeffrey.
Mark.
No?
I thought it was Mark and then Jeffrey, but
Okay,
yeah.
so Markham, Jeffrey, Mr. Sand, and
This guy
I.
I too. Yeah, I's been up here for a while actually.
Yeah. So was it Markham, Jeffrey, Mr. Sand, I, and Santism? Go ahead, Markham.
Santissima.
Santissima. Thank you.
Santissima Muerte Oracle. She's practices brujeria.
I'm sorry.
Hi,
I'm sorry. What?
everybody.
I didn't catch that. I'm sorry.
Brujeria.
A what? What?
Brujeria. Bruja.
Witchcraft?
That's right.
Oh, okay.
That's a lie. That is a down cold, straight out lie.
Why are you lying
I'm
on her
not
like that,
into
Peter?
that.
I mean, you literally have brujeria type of shit in your profile.
All right, listen. We gotta go to
Uh,
Markham. Go ahead, Markham. Sorry. Go ahead.
Because we had the this thing in Mexico, and the thing is was up
All
there.
right, it's more.
That
I'm sorry.
doesn't mean
Okay,
that
okay,
I'm
okay.
Nice.
We
into
have to.
I was
It's
kidding.
Santeria.
Markham's.
No worries.
It's
I
Markham's
got you.
time. Go ahead, Markham.
You're a fucking
Go ahead,
liar.
Markham. Go ahead.
Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for having me up. I'm California governor candidate Kobe Markham. And I was just getting ready to relax and go to bed and brush my teeth. And I just hopped into this space. And I heard Dana say something that piqued my interest. And I just wanted to give everyone encouragement. What she said was, and I understand where she's coming from because a lot of people have had the experiences that they've had. She said that all politicians are liars. And I think a lot of people have had those types of experiences with politicians. And I'm running for governor of California. And I think I told somebody once, because I've never held political office before, they said, Markham, you're a politician. And I said, no, I'm not. I've never had a political office before. I'm a construction contractor. I'm a remodeling contractor. They said, no, you're running for governor of California. Therefore, you're a politician. So I thought, oh, okay, fine. I guess I'm a politician until the race is over, unless I get elected. But if Dana, if you ever hope to find a politician who's not a liar and who's not a sleazebag that is looking to use political office for narcissistic, selfish, money uh, grabbing opportunities. I just wanted to let you know that I'm out in the world and I'm an honest person.
So then you're more of a statesman than a politician.
Maybe so. I never thought about it that way.
Mhm. Yeah, I appreciate that. Okay. Um, and everybody go follow Markham. He's running for governor. Go support.
Markham, you should start hosting spaces in the morning or afternoon, and you could talk about your platform and what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I do it a little bit. It's just tough to get on a schedule because my schedule's so crazy. And sometimes I'm in other people's spaces and I don't have enough funding right now to campaign full time. So I just kind of like have to do things, as I
II. And right now it's at its apex. And that stuff is still happening at a very high level. And we have to be even more vigilant than we have ever been. So, all these things that try to break down the cohesion of MAGA and the MAGA party, all those things exist in order to allow like these Marxist forces to come in and take over our country and turn it into something much, much worse than what it has ever been. So I would just say, like, do not fall victim to like all of these forces that are trying to brainwash people and trying to take over people's minds and stuff like that, like with all of these like fake promises of like whatever they're promising. Don't believe any of that stuff. You know what, the only thing you should be listening to is people that promise you freedom to do whatever you want. And like that's the only thing that's what makes America America. If somebody's giving you, like, trying to tell you like how you need to live your life, then that's not the American thing. But if somebody gives you the freedom to live your life the way that you want to live your life, then that's what the American thing is. It's very simple to tell the difference between the two. So people that are offering you some form of, like communist servitude, those people are not freaking, they do not have American interests in mind. So I would just say that, like those, like, please, everybody, like, be very careful of who you're allowing to have power over you, because do not fall victim to the political, manipulations of people that say, oh, we're on your side and we're going to give you everything that you want. They're not. They are not. And that's all I have to say.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Who was it? Mr. Sand?
Hey Dana, real quick, I have to say, like, if you guys step outside to see if you have northern lights, it's cloudy here, but they're all over the US right now.
In Ohio, we can see it.
Yeah, I'm
Everywhere. I
seeing
mean,
it.
like, I can share a
Oh, really?
yeah,
Okay.
they're
I'm gonna
seeing
step
them all the way
outside.
down into Florida.
Oh, cool. Um, Go ahead, Mr. Sand.
Mr. Sandwich, you're up.
Oh, sorry, guys. Marcus, I had a question for you. You're running for governor of California, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, what is your plan to fix what has become a third world hellhole in America, in California? And I hate to be that harsh about California, but based on everything that we've seen, it's a disaster piece. It is a mess. So, what is your plan to fix it? And give just, if you could, give me a breakdown on what you intend to do if you were elected.
The will of the people has been subverted through non-legitimate elections in California, and there are processes to allow each county to manage its own elections. And California has 58 counties, and right now the elections are being managed at the state level. And so there are things happening at the state level that the registrars of voters who are acting in good faith cannot see, because all of their data is in the state computers. But I want to work on election integrity, securing our borders, medical freedom of choice, meaning no mandated vaccines or anything like that. I'd like to see school choice so that parents can choose where their children go to school rather than being financially limited to their geography where they live, making children go to failing schools with failing teachers who don't care about their jobs. And I'd like to see more parental rights in California and more support for our Second Amendment rights. And we need more state fiscal responsibility, and we need to start controlling the wildfires. And part of California, our problems are with fraudulent elections. People are unable to vote. These unethical, lying, stealing politicians out of office because these politicians keep putting themselves first and their families and their friends and their cronies, and they're putting the needs of California voters last and treating California voters like slaves that exist for the state government.
Yeah, and I hate to put you on the spot, Marcus. One of the key things that I have noticed with California and New York, it's not just California, is one of the big problems is there's so much money being funneled into the homelessness problem that people want to keep their jobs. They never want to actually fix it, because if they fix it, then they don't have a job anymore, and they're literally paying people to be homeless. What would your approach be? Excuse me, to solving that
Yeah,
problem?
no, you feel free to drop the hammer. Give me the flamethrower. On the California homeless industrial complex, I absolutely want to put a stop to that, partly by supplying some of these services through the state of California. We don't need these NGOs with they don't have scales of economy that the state could have, number one. Number two, I'm an advocate for compulsory drug treatment and abstinence treatment, and I want to have a zero tolerance policy for public camping, public drug use, selling drugs. I want to annihilate the drug cartels. Something that a lot of people don't know is that the California Highway Patrol are actually the California State Police, and they have unlimited jurisdiction in every city, every town, every inch of the state of California to enforce state law. So if the city of whatever, pick a city, does not want to enforce stopping illegal drug use in their city, California Highway Patrol can go in there and arrest, and we can arrest people for prosecution and basically start getting these people off of the streets. And part of it is because I care about these people who drugs have taken over their lives, and they are not able to make their own decisions anymore, and they are being used and abused by the California homeless industrial complex. And you're right, they want to keep these people sick, they want to give them unlimited drugs, and it's not a housing problem because so many deaths and overdoses are happening when people have housing. They are dying in their housing. It's horrible.
Yeah, and Dana and Loki, I'm so sorry. I'm just going to ask one more question. It's a hot topic. Um, so Marcus, I have to ask you, if you became governor of California with the homeless problem specifically and the drug problem that feeds it, and you touched on the cartel, would you be open to cutting the cartel completely out with drug legalization?
No, 100% no, not ever, not ever, ever, ever. I'm 100% against that. Under no circumstances would I entertain any idea of legalizing these drugs that are destroying people's lives.
Yeah, but Marcus, you understand the prohibition is what leads to the cartels being able to operate, and it creates a whole black market. If you legalize and regulate it, you would eliminate the black market and you would take all the money and profits away from criminality.
Well, dead drug dealers can't deal drugs, and that's a fact. And if
There will always be another drug dealer, Marcus. There will always be
that's
another one.
fine, we'll start processing them through here, and drug dealers will learn that when you come into California, you don't leave.
What about marijuana dealers? Like, did you support the legalization of marijuana?
I do support the federal legalization of marijuana. I see more families being destroyed by alcohol, more lives being destroyed by alcohol, more marriages being destroyed by alcohol, and far more. I don't see marijuana destroying anybody's lives, and I do not understand why people are against marijuana. And I would like to see it legalized at the federal level. I personally don't use marijuana. I've never tried marijuana. I have no desire to try marijuana. But when I compare it to alcohol, it seems like a far better alternative.
So, but you understand the country is built upon the rights of the individual. So, why should the government be able to tell an individual what they can and can't do to their own body?
Because the illicit drugs take over the rights of the individual. That individual is no longer making their own decisions when they get on the drugs. They lose their freedom and they become a slave to those drugs.
It's nonsense. I used to do cocaine a while ago when I was younger, and I knew exactly what I was doing, and I just like to party a little bit on the weekend. Why should I not be able to party on the weekend if I want to? Why should you be able to tell me I can't do that?
Some of the drug trade ends up financing terrorism, and I understand that you might counter with, well, then if you legalize it, then it won't be a problem. There are some people who can try some drugs. You might have been one of them, and they're able to walk away from that drug and live a normal life. And there are other individuals who will try whatever, pick a drug, and it's really their thing, and it starts to become a serious problem for that person. And the same could be said for food. A lot of people have problems with food. They overeat and it causes them major health problems, but we all have to eat food. So that is not something, but I just use that as an example that anything can be a problem for anybody. Some people it's sex, some people it's whatever, pick something.
But what you're describing is collectivism. You're describing I can't, even though I can handle what I'm doing and I have the right to do it because I'm an individual, I shouldn't be able to do it because others can't control themselves. How is that respecting the rights of the individual?
It, in my opinion, it respects the rights of those individuals to not to be secluded from being exposed to cocaine or whatever drug it is. Just out of curiosity, would you advocate for the legalization of cocaine but not for heroin and not for fentanyl? Or would you advocate for the legalization of all known drugs and all future drugs that might come into existence?
Well, fentanyl wouldn't be legalized because it's a poison and it's a narcotic that's used mainly for cancer patients. So the application of fentanyl to be used illicitly wouldn't need to be wouldn't need to be available to individuals if heroin was available because they could just go do heroin and they wouldn't have the same type of effect as fentanyl. Yes, I'm for the legalization of all drugs, and there's an organization called LEAP, Law Enforcement Against Prohibition, which actually backs almost all the drugs that I've been talking about being decriminalized and legalized. So you might want to shore up that policy point because I would not vote for you based upon this. You're talking about killing individuals who just want to serve the community narcotics, much like KFC serves people chicken, which heart disease kills like 450,000 people a year. So that's the biggest killer. And food that's being served and is legal to be served to people is contributing to heart disease. So using your line of thinking and logic, we need to protect individuals from themselves, and that's not what this country is about.
Well, Loki, how can
Yeah,
you guarantee that people are going to be as responsible as you are?
Don't have to guarantee any of that. The country's built upon the rights of the individual. If individuals break the law, they will be punished for it. Their conduct will be deterred, and they will go to the penitentiary.
Yeah, and Loki, I'm going to piggyback off of what you just said. And so Marcus, just to give you a little insight, I have suffered from 2 heroin overdoses. It was miserable, but I would still argue Loki's point that it is the right of the people to do what they want to do. It is not the right of the government to tell people what they can't put in their bodies. Okay. And I know there's this fear that we need to protect people and people are too retarded to understand what they need to do with themselves. But at the exact same time, I again, and I would hope everybody is educated before they ingest drugs. I hope they are. They have the freedom to do that. They have access to the internet. They have access to all this information today. But I don't think it's the government's right to tell us what we need to put in our body and what we can't put in our body. Okay? And I this is kind of a hard line for me with a lot of politicians where they draw this really hard line, like, oh my God, we got to keep the war on drugs going, sort of thing. No, you think about it, expand your mindset, and I hope that you do. Take a look at Amsterdam. If we were to do full-blown legalization, right? We had controls in place. People had a place that they could go to get the drugs. It's clean. There's no fentanyl. There's no contamination, etc. If they want to do it, they can do it. Maybe give them a flyer that tells them, hey, by the way, these are your risks, etc. That would be great. But the hard line, you got to think about the benefits of doing that, which is cutting the cartel the hell out of our system. No reasonable person is going to go to the street dealer when they can go to CVS, right?
So using their
And and I know that that might be a hard concept to understand, but this crackdown on drugs and the war on drugs, and I appreciate you laughing, and maybe I'm ridiculous, but I believe what I believe. And if we cut the cartel out, think of how many people are going to stop going to prison for stupid drug charges. Think about how many people we don't have to pay taxes for anymore because we didn't lock them up because of all this drug BS. And so I'll pause. Go ahead,
I
Marcus.
agree with that. I agree with
Well,
that.
I'm gonna give Marcus the last word so we can move on to the next speaker. But go ahead.
I was laughing at when you said it was a hard concept to understand. I wasn't laughing at the other stuff. I'm curious, maybe you and I should do a space sometime. I'm curious to know, and I don't want to take over the space, but if we're not going to limit people's freedoms, then I guess maybe anybody at any age should be able to be allowed to do whatever they want, because otherwise we're stepping on their freedoms by that logic, which I don't agree with. And I guess the other question or concern would be when, not if, but when people destroy their lives on drugs, who is going to provide financial support to that person for any medical needs or food or disabilities that they incur because of the drugs? Because in that type of society where that person is free to do whatever they want, it's not the responsibility of people who have not destroyed their lives on drugs to provide any type of support whatsoever for that person who has destroyed their life on drugs.
They should be
Provides it
responsible
now.
for their own actions.
Who provides it
And
now?
and right now, I mean, like there's laws against driving under the influence. That would still be there. So you could prosecute them. We're talking about letting people do what they want to do in their own home. That's what we're really talking about. And I don't believe in I don't take any drugs. But I don't want the government to come in and tell me what I can and cannot put in my own body. And we'd also be able to get rid of people dying from fentanyl, having that laced, so many of the street drugs laced with that. We'd get rid of the cartels. Now, I know the government hates competition because I truly believe the government's probably the biggest drug runner we have on the planet, but I think it would solve a lot of problems.
Yeah.
So would you guys let your kids do drugs?
No,
No,
but I think
you have to be of age to use narcotics to go and buy them.
Well,
Same as alcohol.
I would never tell that to my kids. But you got to be of age to do drugs. No, never do drugs, even as an adult, because if you do drugs, then that's a downward spiral. Now, but I'm gonna kind of be a little bit in defensive here of Markham before we move on to the next speaker, because you saying you don't want the government to tell us what to put in our body, and I get it. Even though a lot of people who are up here who are Christians, you are against abortions, but that's still the government telling women what they should or could or cannot do to their body. So if you're going to take that stance, then you got to take it across the board. However, and then on top of that, corporations such as food companies or any type of product, pharmaceuticals, they got to tell the government what's in their product that they're going to be giving to the public. They got to follow rules and regulations. So why not have citizens follow some type of rule and regulations when it comes to what we consume?
Hey, Dana, can I say something about the abortion thing? I would totally agree with you. Absolutely. My only issue is there's another living being there. That's my only, otherwise I would say, government, you have no business in this at all. But there is another living being involved. So that is my only problem with it.
A living being?
Yeah, the fetus, the baby,
But it's not a person yet.
Well, if it can, there have been people that
Oh, wow.
had births way early, and then people differ on this, but there's been people, like, at what point is it life? But there's people that have had their babies way early, prematurely, and that baby lived. I mean,
No,
months
I
early.
get your point, but again, even with abortion, right? When it was legal throughout the whole nation, even with abortion, there were rules and regulations. You cannot terminate after a certain amount of weeks or whatever. So but the point I'm trying to make here is our government set rules and regulations for reasons that can help society be more functional. But if we all could just run around and do whatever we want, then we have tyranny. Even though technically when you look around, it's like we have tyranny sometimes. But so can you imagine if we could just have complete free will
We
of
still have laws, though, Dana. We
You know,
still have
yeah, it
laws.
wouldn't
right,
work
we
like
still have
that. So
laws, but when we're talking about drugs, like, Loki wants to legalize drugs. You should be able to consume however amount of drugs that you want, but that will become a health issue. That not so much is, yes, with the individual consuming drugs, but also in society, because then you're going to have doctors. We already have doctors that are drug addicts. You're going to have lawyers, judges. You're going to have a lot of people that help keep this society going high on drugs. I mean, we all, well, if you of a certain age, if you live through the crack era, there's a lot of high profile people who were strung out on crack
They're
that were
still
not
doing it,
really
though, Dana.
productive.
but
They're
Dana,
doing it now.
yeah, they're doing it now,
Right, they're
and
doing it now. So and we have a problem now. So making it legal is not going to make it better. It's just,
I don't
for
I
me,
don't think so. I
my opinion is it'll make it worse if you legalize drugs.
I disagree.
However, to Nancy, what you were saying, the United States is the number one drug pusher, because yeah, they could cease a lot of the incoming drugs with the stroke of a pen, like right away. So people are getting paid. It's profitable. The cartels. I love that show, Landman, and in that show, there's a lot of things that they said that was factual about the cartel. It's like, listen, the cartel, we make more money than than an oil business. So the cartel is very powerful. So it, I don't make something legal that we already have a problem. Making it legal is actually going to make it worse, unless you can convince me that making it legal will will eliminate or decrease the cartel's funds. If it's gonna cut their profit by more than 50%, then make drugs legal. Because if
Dana,
it's not gonna
They
cut
will
their
cut the
profit,
cartels
Dana,
out.
I'll prove it to you. The cartels do not traffic in marijuana anymore. Why? Because it's legal here and you could grow it right in your fucking house. Sorry for the F word, but I get passionate about this. That's the same thing that would
so
happen.
in a nutshell, because I want to get to the other speakers getting late. So in a nutshell, if you're saying if drugs are legal, then it will automatically cut cartels' profit.
1,000%. It wouldn't be profitable if every
Okay.
Tom, Dick, and
All
Harry
right.
can grow
That's
the
fine.
drugs.
That's fine. Okay. So then let's pin that, and then next week we could piggyback up on that. Because who was next?
It was me. It was me. I'm next.
Who is me?
It just
Africa
came
Black
up, bro.
No,
You
you
that
were not
No,
next.
I've
You
been
were
up.
not
I've been
next.
up.
And listen, we've been having a very grooving, productive space. Don't come up in here with none of that. You were not next. I was next. It was I.
I'll
And
bring
then
you back up, Africa. But if you come off the mic Hey, again, I'm gonna Dana. drop you again. So I'll bring you up
it
in a
was
second.
okay. It's I and Dennis Santissima.
Dentissima.
Hey,
Santissima.
Santissima.
It's I and Santissima, and then technically, Peter, we're supposed to be closing out.
Yeah,
So
but this is the last night space we're ever doing, so I figured we could let it rock.
who knows? And honestly, your schedule, you so iffy. We may end up doing another. I don't want to hear that. I got a day tomorrow, and it's already tomorrow. So go ahead,
I just wanted to say I think I ain't he was before me.
I
He
ain't
went
win.
already.
He went
Or
already.
go, dude.
Oh, okay.
I got my hand up again.
So
We'll go back.
I guess from what you guys were talking about, my thing about the whole freedom argument is that when people have freedom to do what they want, and there's radical religious sects in our country that provide like ideologies that allow for collective thought that can potentially take away freedom through the capitalistic system. I just think that from a government perspective, we need to address those type of situations so that they don't happen. I don't think it's a racial thing, but I do think it is an ethnic thing in origin. Like if you look at the history of the country, um, we've always been segregated by ethnicity. So that was just my thought. But yeah, collectivism, I think that type of freedom leads to collectivism, especially when you have a bunch of radical Christian ideology or Muslim or Jewish, it doesn't really matter.
Freedom. What we've been just talking about as far as drugs is going to lead to collectivism.
No, but like Dana said, whenever you have an opinion, your opinion has to go across the board. Otherwise, if it doesn't, then there's no moral, real obligation to the opinion. If that makes any sense.
You're saying it has to be applied evenly, correct?
Yeah, it has to make sense in every situation, unless you have some type of excuse of some kind. But yeah, and from my perspective, like whatever your ideology is, I won't necessarily consider it if it doesn't make sense across any type of scenario. Like if the opinion changes depending on the input variables, then it just comes off to me as more propaganda.
Gotcha.
All right.
Yeah, not saying that anyone's doing that, but yeah, that was just my opinion.
Santissima. Did I say it right? Santissima or Santissima?
Santissima.
Santissima. Okay, go ahead.
I just wanted to ask. I think his name was Marco, and I'm from the state of California, but I'm one of 20 million U.S. citizens that we work overseas that are non-military and non-consulate. And a lot of my friends in the state of California, when we tried to vote
All
last
that,
time, the last time
all
they,
that ass kissing, and look at his bitch ass. They knocked Judge Joe Brown off the motherfucker after all that ass kissing. He kissed all them white nationalists.
Drop him the fuck down.
I don't even see him. Hold on.
I don't even
Let me
know who
drop.
that person is.
That's big. That's Big Black. That's Big Black. He's funny as hell. But
Well, honestly, I don't have time. Actually, you know, I am familiar with him. I think he's not funny. He's not. He's actually very fucking arrogant and stupid. And it's not even in a funny way. I remember him because he was just going off on everyone, and then he was like going off on me or whatever. It's like, dude, I don't even fucking know you, but he yells. He's a nigger. He's a nigger. Yeah. And I'm calling you one in a room full of all types of people. And I'm not in the mood for a nigger tonight. And Peter, don't ever bring him back up and when me and you hold spaces. Sorry. So nigger,
sorry,
go and open
big
up
boy.
your other space and have my name in the title and have my name all coming out your mouth, nigger. Okay? Monkey. Go ahead.
Okay. So, since you are a future candidate for the state of California, and I've talked to other people that are also from California, and we're working overseas, and for whatever reason, our ballots are not being counted. That's 20 million people, not all from the state of California, but 20 million people that we work overseas at different corporations. Like me, I work with Deutsche Dresdner Bank, and our votes are not coming in. And what do you plan on that so that all votes are counted? Because this is really being an issue. I mean, it started back with Obama, where we used to be able to go to the U.S. consulate or the embassy with our passports, and then we could sign in, register in the consulate or the embassy, and then we could vote. And now the whole thing has changed now, and there's even more U.S. citizens now coming out. The internations, we're estimating that we're probably going to be somewhere around maybe 40 million eventually, because there's just right now there's just a flood of people coming out to work overseas in different countries because of the quality of life and some other things, the money. I mean, it's a lot of things, when you have to pay your university fees back and you're like 200 and 300,000 in debt, then United States, we're not making enough money over back home to pay off a lot of these debts. And so, what is your plan on that, so that all votes will be counted?
Please DM me. And I don't know what the statutes are on how long a person can reside outside of the state of California while continuing to vote in California elections, because it's not something that anybody's ever asked me before. So please DM me. I'm serious. Please DM me. Please DM me. Please DM me so that we can keep in touch, especially if you know other people that this is happening with, so that I can research it.
Okay, but as long as we're U.S. citizens and U.S. passport holders, we're allowed to vote. But it's just the problem with last time, they said all of a sudden votes couldn't be counted. Things got lost in the mail. I mean, there were so many excuses. Yeah.
Well, I need
So
to research it. So really, DM me in the next 3 minutes. Please DM me and let's keep in touch, because I need to research this, because I know somebody that I can check with that
okay,
is
I'm
a super
following you
expert.
now. I'm following
Thank
you
you.
for, now, and I live in Cheviot Hills. That's in West Los Angeles, between Century City and Culver City. And I've talked to some other people, and we all had the same problem. And we're most of the people of the 20 million plus are not everyone from California, but the 20 million, we're all U.S. citizens working overseas, non-military, non-consulate.
And
Yeah.
pass them my information too, so that I can research this, please. Thank you.
Okay, I'm following you, and I'll get back to you.
All right.
Thank you.
Who is next? Leah, then OG.
Yep.
Oh, no, let them go ahead. Sorry. Just come back to me.
Go ahead,
OG,
OG.
you're up.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you, Dana. Shout out to you for having the space and Loki or Peter, whichever one you like to go by. Shout out to the room. Uh, listen, I have a question. I guess was that Markham? How you say that? Markham running for governor?
Yes, sir. Markham, Marcum,
Okay.
Markham.
I just wanted to ask you: is your campaign is it like one of those Arnold Schwarzenegger type uh campaigns, or are you like have a better platform type of situation?
You can check it out at kobejmarkham.com. I'll put it in the purple pill. I got over 40 policies on there. I'm not like Arnold. This is not a vanity campaign. I'm blessed to have 2 graduate degrees in business management, including an MBA from Pepperdine. I'm a very structured person. No games, no nonsense, but still friendly, caring, and loving. And this is a very strong campaign. And we just did a debate event on the stage last weekend. We had over 50,000 views. Definitely not a small campaign and not a Mickey Mouse joke campaign.
So what do you feel like you know about reparations?
I'm 100% against it because, as our parody Donald Trump person was saying earlier, that the people who were slave traders are all dead. And has anybody in this room ever been a slave outside of human trafficking? Because human trafficking is the current slavery. Human
Debt
trafficking is real
slavery,
slavery.
debt slavery, Markham, all of us.
Yeah, but see, most people that go through trauma or go through whatever societal condition that's adverse or negative, most people that go through that, they if it's older history, like prior to World War II, then that's one thing, and then after World War II, that's another thing. But what happens is no one's a part of those harms anymore. The Jews aren't being harmed anymore. Japanese aren't being harmed anymore. Nobody's being harmed anymore. And we're not being harmed anymore. But we were harmed, for the preparation. Okay. We were harmed. And what I mean by the preparation is we were harmed before this country became as prominent as it is. Okay. And so that was our free labor that was forced upon us. Okay. So in this case, it was our ancestors. And before I get into a big old dig about it, I won't do that. I was just trying to get the feel for how you was feeling. But my thing about as far as legalizing the drugs and different things, no, we don't. That's not gonna help the problem. What hurts the problem? What really, really hurts the problem is that when the lawmakers and the law enforcers are inconsistent about who they arrest and who they, let go and all these different things. Joe Buddy, he got a little pass, whereas the other little guy, he didn't get no pass, and he didn't even have as much as Joe Pass had. He had half of what Joe Pass had, but he doing twice the time that Joe Pass is doing. Joe Pass is getting away with it scot-free. So, you don't have to legalize things just because you can't control the law.
Yeah, we need equal
Yeah,
application of the
I
law.
land. I mean,
That's a good point.
I'm sure people have their own idea about things, but I've seen methadone clinics and all, how it works. So no, I don't believe in legalizing the drugs because that's just gonna make it harder. I land. Thank you guys.
Appreciate it. Maybe we need to do another one of those, Dana. Remember we did a legalizing drug spaces a while
Did
ago?
we? I don't think we ever got to the legalized. We were supposed to.
We did it in April, I think. I was in Lake Tahoe at
Oh.
the time. I remember we did it.
Oh, well, yeah, we need to do another one. All right, so we're gonna start winding down. Leah, go ahead, and I do see the hands up. I don't know if we even have time to, because I'm burnt out right now. Go ahead, Leah.
Okay, sorry. Real quickly. Wow. Um, No one in this country at this point in 2025 deserves reparations. No one is a slave, nor do any of us own slaves. But I digress. Legalizing drugs, I feel like, is a slippery slope. The biggest cartel, to me, in my opinion, in the fucking world is Big Pharma. Big Pharma is the biggest cartel. And that's not going to go away by legalizing drugs. If you look at Purdue Pharma in West Virginia back in the 90s, that got OxyContin started. You see what happened with that. Again, slippery slope. But I know you guys are wanting to close the space, so I'll just leave it there. Thanks.
And let me just say this. So this was a really good space. Started at 9 p.m. It's about to be 1 o'clock. It's long. It's a really good space. And I really do appreciate everyone that came up, especially in the beginning. But all the speakers that came up, I really enjoyed what everybody had to say, whether we agreed or not. But it was a very respectful space. And I just want to keep emphasizing that. And I really do appreciate that. So it was a really good space. And I want to say thank you to all the speakers. But to the one nigger that came up here, and I don't have a problem calling him that, because he's called me and I don't even know this person, some very nasty names when it just so happened we was in the same space, but I was just a listener, and he was just calling me all types of names. So me calling him that is light work. But aside from him, the black monkey nigger, I really appreciate everyone. Good conversation. It evolved to a whole bunch of different important topics, and I definitely want us to revisit those topics again. Definitely want to talk about the beef. Got to talk about legalizing drugs, and definitely want to do a space again with Markham, because he's running for governor in California, and I know people that live in California got questions, and and got a lot to say. And so for me, thank you everybody. Oh, and shout out to everybody on YouTube. Thank you guys. Everyone in the comments. I know a lot of people, probably went to bed, but all the listeners on YouTube, shout out to them as well. And all the listeners here. So go ahead, Peter, and
It was
close
a
us
great
out.
space.
Yeah,
Yes,
great space
yeah,
tonight.
and Nancy was talking a lot today. Nancy don't usually talk that much, but she was standing on her own. But yeah,
Nancy's
Joe, Mike,
badass.
Nikki, yeah, everyone that came, like they were here.
Yeah,
A
for the
lot, a
whole
lot of
thing.
people were here early and stayed for a very long time. It was a good conversation. So I like the way it evolved into different things. So yeah, but go ahead, Peter, close us out.
It was a great space. Once again, free Judge Joe Brown. Let's get him back on the platform. You guys should like and retweet that as well, so that we can get him restored, his account restored. But yeah, these are the types of spaces that I like to host, their co-host, and these topics are important, because if we don't talk about them, no one's going to talk about them, and people are going to take control of the issues for us, and we need to be in control. So I hope you guys have a great evening, rest of the week, and we will catch you in the afternoon soon, rather than 1 o'clock in the morning. Hope you guys have a great night.
Good night.